official World Cup coverage on SJ Radio.
62 games, 32 countries, 2 teams left. Who will be crowned the World Cup winner of 2018? There's only one way to find it, isn't it? France versus Croatia is right here on your radio station, SJ Radio. France and Croatia live in about 15 minutes time. There's some little things for yourself in. We've got France and Croatia 4 o'clock. We've got France to win within 90 minutes, 11 to 10. If we'll be a draw at the end of 90 minutes, it's 21 to 10. And for Croatia to win, it's 3 to 1. Let's have a little look at the lineups in for yourself. Let's go to France first. France playing a 4-2-3-1 formation. Of course, Lazarus is in goal. Pogba stars along with Gerrard as well. And Croatia, and they've got a Matic and Ivanovic, also Henderson as well. All start today. So let's not waste no more time, because I feel like we waste a little bit more time than what we should do. So let's get straight to it in. BBC Radio 5 live coverage here on SJ Radio. Let's get Croatia as they take on France for the final time. It's the World Cup final. Good luck, guys.
The World Cup. This is SJ Radio.
Taken into account, and also the role that he has played for his team out here.
Yeah, you know what? I like him as a player. Always occupies the 2 centre halves if they're playing in the 4. He'll always occupy 2 centre halves if he's playing against a 3. So I think he gives France all the balance that they need. He stays up top. He does a centre forward's job. And I've said it many times in commentary that as a centre-forward, your first job obviously is to score goals, but he's reliable. He holds on to the ball, he brings his teammates into play, and when you've got Griezmann and Pogba and Mbappe and players like Matuidi that want to get close to you, be reliable, and then you can be a really dangerous centre-forward when the ball comes in the box.
He actually came with wanting to play Dembele, Mbappe and Griezmann. And he tried that in the first game, and he thought all the pace, movement, teams wouldn't be able to live with him. But they couldn't get the ball forward to stick. They were all losing the ball, and he thought, I've got to put Giroud in, and I've had to put him in for the balance of the side.
And also, he's going to hold up the play, as we say. But the final is it just in his 30s. This is his chance, a bit like the final for Croatia. And I think their manager has said, this is your last chance. People like Modric and Perisic, they're never going to get this opportunity again. So we've talked about all the young talent coming through, but there's some big players here today on either side that want to leave their imprint and want to be in the winning team.
Isn't that more nerve-wracking though, if you're told it's your last chance, or do you already know that?
Their life for it really, and this is it now. They're never going to have the opportunity for some of those in their 30s. Take it and no regret.
The teams will be coming out very shortly here at the Luzhniki Stadium for the 2018 World Cup final. Let's get an update on the men's singles final at Wimbledon from David Law.
Where it is all Novak Djokovic still so far. He's won the first 2 sets of this final in less than an hour. 6-2, 6-2 against the big 6 feet 8 inch South African Kevin Anderson in his first final. He's doing much better in the third set. He's got a 3-2 lead, has Anderson, but Djokovic with points to level up at 3 games all. He's 2 sets to love ahead and needs just 4 more games to win the Wimbledon title. Live commentary now on 5 Live Sports Extra.
And you can watch it on BBC 2, the World Cup finals on BBC 1, and also here on 5 Live Sport. Is it time to start giving Dejan Lovren a bit of credit, Dion, do you think? After beating England, he said, people were saying I had a difficult season. I don't agree with that. I showed that I took Liverpool to the Champions League final, and now with my national team we're in the final. I think people should recognise that I'm one of the best defenders in the world and not just talk nonsense.
He said that about himself. He's one of the best defenders in the world. Wow, he's gone slightly over the top,
isn't he? If he's got Liverpool into a Champions League final and Croatia into a World Cup final,
he didn't get him into the final. He contributed. He did his job, which is what he's paid to do. So to tell yourself you're one of the best in the world, I'm not having that at all. Let other people tell you. Let fans tell you. Let managers tell you. Let your teammates tell you, which is more importantly. He's done well. He's done well in this competition. He's done really well. I've seen him in a press conference recently. Very spiky. Didn't like some of the questions that he was asked in a Croatian press conference. He was very dismissive of the media.
But that press conference was that the press conference before the England semi-final when the English journalist tried to ask him about being ripped apart?
It wasn't an English question actually. It was a Croatian question.
Was it? Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah, it was a Croatian question.
But it was that press conference when he was asked about how Harry Kane had ripped him apart at Wembley.
Yeah, correct. But what it was the way he dismissed the media, and he was rude, and I didn't like that. And I don't like players that have got an ego and feel they can be rude to whoever they want to be rude to, and then not get any negativity. Back to the competition, he's been very good. Himself and his performances, he deserves to be in the World Cup. If he can keep doing this and keep getting Liverpool into European Cups and semis and finals, then he will become one of the best. At the moment, he's not.
Trevor, you look like you're thinking.
No, I'm thinking definitely not one of the best, that's for sure. He's had a decent tournament, I've got to say, and I can say it now because we're out of the tournament. In the first half, there were two outrageous tackles, fisticuffs, where we should have got a yellow card against England and didn't. And there were a couple more in the second half. And obviously, if he'd have been booked as he should have in the first half, he would never have been able to do those sort of challenges. He's got away with them, and that's fine. Look, the 4 minute pick, they've had a great tournament. He's played well, but he's certainly not. He's not going to be in the team of the tournament, that's for sure. And good luck to him today, though.
There are some fantastic battles, aren't there, Chris, really? The midfield threes against each other, the wide men against the fullbacks is interesting. The two goalkeepers have arguably been the two goalkeepers at the tournament in Subasic and Lloris. And then the battle between Mandzukic and Varane, or Lovren and Giroud. There are some fascinating matchups here.
Well, there is, and we'll be looking at, obviously, Modric and Rakitic and Rebic and Perisic to see if they can get their flair, their imagination going on the ball, see if they can see things and make the ball do the work, and obviously they can run with it and dribble on two wingers. And then you look at Mbappe, everybody's talking about, will he freeze? It's a big stage for a young player. He could really enjoy it and think this is where I'm meant to be. Will Griezmann become a problem to Brozovic, who probably got a role to pick him up when he comes off Giroud? There's a lot of things to look at, Mark, to be fair. And it's basically who performs on the day. It's hard to call, but I just think France have got a little bit of advantage.
Philipp Lahm, by the way, the former Germany captain, just brought the World Cup out in a small carrying case, a bit like as if he was going to do a magic trick with it. Opened up the carrying case to reveal the World Cup inside it, and that was then the cheer that you could hear that went round the arena. The carrying case has now been left on one plinth. They've walked past the match ball on another plinth, and they're about to put the World Cup on a third plinth once he just presents it to all four corners of the Luzhniki Stadium. And now he'll put it on this white plinth that at the moment is on a blue carpet with the final written out in big gold capital letters. And we've just seen a shot of Luka Modric in the tunnel with his Croatian teammates. Dion, where's it going to be won and lost for you?
I think it's going to be won and lost within the forward line. I know the midfield is possibly whatever he's going to say, but I think the forwards going forward, the defenders have got a hard job today containing both sets of forwards. But I think it's the forwards for me: Mandzukic, Griezmann, Giroud, Perisic. Players like that have got to, if you want to win a game, you're going to have players that can create and score goals. And I think the forwards for me, that's where it's going to be won.
Just been a great shot as well of Kylian in the tunnel. Did you see that, Chris Waddle? Looking every inch a 19-year-old, mixing between massive grins and deep breath.
Well, it should. He'll not realise. Honestly, to him, it's another game. At that age, you've got no fear. He shouldn't have any.
There's a look of concentration on Rafael Varane's face. Paul Pogba is offering up a little prayer. I think he had his head in his hands. He's actually standing behind Kylian Mbappe in the tunnel. The Croatian fans away to our right start their songs, and the French fans to our left respond by waving their French flags in their direction. This is it. It is the 2018 World Cup final. You can watch it on BBC television, but we would love it if you stayed with us here on 5 Live Sport. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much for being with us throughout the whole of the last 5 weeks and enjoying this tournament. One game left, and we hope it is going to be very, very special. France against Croatia, the World Cup final, with Chris Waddle, John Murray, and first of all, our senior football reporter, Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Mark. It is a wonderful setting here in the Luzhniki Stadium as the two teams wait side by side in the tunnel. And the first sight that will greet them is just hundreds of photographers wearing jade green bibs. And then they'll see the flashlights of a plethora of cameras as they make their way out, and then they will see the trophy gleaming on a humid and hot afternoon, in fact evening, here in Russia. Game kicks off 6 o'clock local time as the two teams walk out onto a playing surface that looks in splendid condition. The Croatian support away to our right, just those red and white checkered shirts. Once again they have travelled in numbers, but it's not just to the right, because there's also on the top tier over there's a large chunk as well, high up away to our left, as they stand and tower above the tricolours, the French tricolours, as we now stand for the national anthem. And first of all, it will be the national anthem of France, La Marseillaise. Seriously outnumbered, the French inside the Luzhniki Stadium, but during that anthem I noticed Kylian Mbappe smiling as he sang the words to the Marseillaise. Now we stand for the national anthem of Croatia. Been unfurled over the heads of the Croatian supporters away to our right. I'm not too sure what it means, but what I can tell you, the last line of the national anthem, Adrian Towles told John Murray this, it says, "I'll keep battling as long as my heart keeps on beating." That was the last line of the national anthem, but hold on. Dion, did you know what that...
The banner, I'll help you out with the banner. The Croatian banner said, "If not now, when?"
If not now, when? Well, There's no end to your talents, Dion. No end. As he takes the plaudits from all around him. So we're almost ready. The team news, by the way, is quite simple because both are unchanged from their semi-final. So Lloris is in goal for France. Pavard, Umtiti, Varane, Hernandez the defence. Kante and Pogba the midfield. Matuidi to the left, but he doesn't play wide left. He tends to tuck in a little bit. Mbappe, Griezmann behind Olivier Giroud, who's yet to have a shot on target in this World Cup, and yet France are in the final. Croatia unchanged. Subasic is in goal. Vasalko, Lovren, Vida and Strinic the defence. Brozovic will be the holding midfield. Rebic, Rakitic, Modric and Perisic on the left behind Mandzukic. And yesterday in St. Petersburg, the third-fourth place playoff, both sides bizarrely wore their away kit. It's nice to see, Chris Waddle, that both sides are wearing their traditional colours, the blue of France and the red and white checkered shirts of Croatia.
Yeah, it's got the makings of a great game, and let's hope it is, and let's hope they don't cancel each other out. There's a fair chance it will happen, but there's not enough talent out there for this to be a very classic final.
One of the largest stadiums in Europe, a capacity of 81,000, the National Stadium of Russia in the southwest of the city centre. And the Croatian players at the moment just embracing each other as they're getting rid of all of the paraphernalia that was out on the pitch for the pre-match ceremony, and everybody ready to take their seats. The French tricolours are still flying away to our left. We've got the red and white to the right of Croatia, and then I'm catching my eye line under the blue skies of Moscow are a splash of yellow for either Brazilians or Colombians who have remained in Russia as we're about to get underway. A case of what might have been as England arrive home. It's Croatia who now dare to dream, and what a story it would be. They would be only the second smallest nation to win a World Cup with a population of just over 4 million. That's a third of the size of Moscow. The countdown is on inside the Luzhniki Stadium. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the 2018 World Cup final is underway, and you're listening to BBC Radio 5 live here in Moscow, with Croatia playing from right to left as we look. And straight away a ball is hoisted high up towards Mandzukic, dealt with by Varane. Perisic to Rakitic on the halfway line, and then Strinic, the left back, who was forward. A little touch there for the midfielder of Brozovic, and Vida towards Modric, and everybody there. Chris Waddle's getting an early feel for the ball in these opening 30 seconds or so.
Croatia, yeah, very calm on the ball, and France pressed from the off, tried to get the ball back very quickly, went back to keeper, he passed it out. They've still got possession now, they've just lost it now to throw it to France, but good start, Croatia.
Strinic on this near side, the left, was pushed up. We'd noticed that Privric had been warming up, he had been a doubt. There was about 5 players who missed training on Friday, as Kante will just lift it up towards Pogba, on the stretch couldn't get there. Brozovic towards Perisic, and on the halfway line there was Griezmann, and quickly challenged by the left back. Because I remember in the semi-final when France played Belgium, Mbappe at the first opportunity went to run at Vertonghen, dropped his shoulder and he was away. Strinic is not going to give him that opportunity, as Varane just knocks it back to Lloris, the French goalkeeper, all in yellow. Modric will press high up the pitch and in fact catches Umtiti. The referee, by the way, is Nestor Pitana from Argentina. He took charge of the opening game here in the Luzhniki, Russia against Saudi Arabia. He's taking charge of the last game as well. But like you, Chris, the fourth official, Kuipers of Holland, I thought has had an excellent tournament.
I did. The tournament was lined up, but it's a bit scrappy at the minute. Umtiti took a massive risk on Modric, didn't he? Dribbling past him, which he does that quite often.
Pogba chips the ball forward, Vida comes across, Strinic will keep the ball in play and will win a throw as he was closed down by Mbappe. 10 goals in the last 7 World Cup finals from 1990. You can't help but feel if we want a classic, we need an early goal from a neutral's point of view.
Yeah, it's always nice to get an early goal in the final, isn't it? That sets it along. The team has to come out and start pressing, but it's Croatia's been the best side, even though we've only played, 2 and a bit minutes.
Just over 2 minutes played. Hernandez gets himself caught in trouble. In fact, the referee spotted a foul there and will give a free kick to France.
I think what you see already is Croatia look very relaxed. We know how they play, we've seen them enough. France have just come to terms with it. They've not settled on the ball at all. They're worried about their jobs when they haven't got the ball, but they've got to remember to play when they get it.
Mbappe lets it go out of play. It'll be a France throw that he takes it quickly back to the right back, Pavard. Oh, caught there by Perisic, and Perisic is now on the attack on the left hand side. Mandzukic is up with him. Rebic is making a run into the penalty area. Perisic tries to go it alone, and Titi comes across and then puts the ball out of play for a throw.
Very nervous here, wasn't he, Pavard? And got caught dawdling there, and Perisic is away with the ball. And I still say that they're going to get joy, Croatia. It's not through the midfield, it'll be with two wingers.
It's an area that you highlighted. By the way, the tennis continues on 5 Live Sports Extra, but we've been building up to this game for the last hour, and that was one of the areas that Chris Waddle had identified for Croatia. From the throw on the left-hand side, it bounces away from Mandzukic. Mbappe will clear for France, who play in their blue, their two-tone blue tops, navy shorts and navy socks from left to right, against the red and white of Croatia. Vida, and now taking over is Brozovic, who just sits in front of that back four, gets it back then from Rakitic, and he'll spread the ball out towards Lovren over on that far side on a very pleasant but humid evening in Moscow. Short of the halfway line, Lovren along the ground back towards Vida. Patient play by Croatia. Rakitic short of the halfway line, diagonal ball out towards Rebic, bounces off his chest, brings it under control, looks for the run from Vrsaljko. He's still got it as Rebic. He'll slip it forward towards the right back. Will he keep the ball in play? Yes, he will. In with a cross. And there was Varane to head the ball away. Croatia have made an excellent start.
Brilliant start, and you've got to say both wide men again. The two full-backs for France. Definitely the weak link.
Modric, right-hand side. Vrsaljko stays with him. But France then dispossess the Croatian right back, and Kante deep inside his own half. Right-footed ball up toward Giroud. Challenged by Lovren. Vida covering, takes no chances all the way back. He goes to Subasic, the Croatian goalkeeper. By the way, you can watch and listen to 5 Live. You can watch the pitches on BBC television by pressing the red button. You can then listen to the 5 Live commentary. I'm sure the same will apply to the BBC Sport website. Just click on Watch with 5 Live to this World Cup final here in Russia, as Kante back to Umtiti and closed down by Mandzukic. We've got not only Chris Waddle, we've heard from Dion Dublin as well. Sir Trevor Brooking is part of our commentary team. What have you made about the early start from Croatia, Sir Trevor?
Well, Croatia have been excellent. They're pressing, they're pushing. France are a little bit uncomfortable. They haven't got the time on the ball that they were expecting. And interesting then when Croatia get it defensively, certainly Giroud and Griezmann have sort of held off, so you can have it there. So there's two contrasting styles, but certainly if I was a fan of Croatia, I'd be absolutely delighted to see how they've started.
5 minutes played, it's 0-0. The noise is being generated mainly from the end away to our right by the Croatian supporters. They are the 13th different nation to reach their first World Cup final. The last two debutants have both won it, France in 98 and Spain in 2010. France, though, are yet to get going. Kante, Pogba inside his own half, playing from left to right just outside the centre circle. Pavard on the halfway line. He goes back rather than forward. Varane to Umtiti, and midway through his own half out to Kante. Ball played forward. Hernandez was quite high up the pitch, but it went away from him and out for a throw. They don't seem to have settled.
France cannot settle at the moment. I think they're worried about Croatia. Who's picking who up, who's closing who down. They're not pressing anywhere really over the park. They just can't put 3 passes together. Give them 3 kick away there, Kante. But now the game plan obviously they've worked on is stopping them playing slightly, but as I said before, you've got to play when you get the ball, and France are not. They're just thinking about when they haven't got the ball.
Here is Modric, just plays it inside. Brozovic in front of that back four, back towards Modric. Vrsaljko is currently marked on that right hand side. Back to Brozovic. Very confident start though this by Croatia, as Rakitic now will come forward on this near side, and he's over the halfway line. Strinic controls the ball out in front of him, an opportunity maybe to cross. No, he runs with it instead. Pogba looks to close him down, but it will be a Croatia throw, and they don't look fazed at all by the occasion.
Well, you've got to think, Ian, if you look at the edges, you know, there are a lot of sides there, players 30 or plus. Brozovic, Lovren's nearly 30, Vida's nearly 30, so, you know, the right back's 26, but the rest of them but there's a lot of this team very, very experienced.
Rakitic to Strinic into the penalty area and quickly closed down by Mbappe, and it goes behind for a corner kick, and it needed that run by Mbappe because they'd worked it the way around the back.
Very good again, they're getting around the back of the French defence, and Mbappe falling asleep. Sometimes you've got to do that defensive side. I know they don't like it, but sometimes you have to.
In fact, 7 in the squad of Croatia are 30 or above in terms of age. Corner kick, near side the left, Modric to take it. Not much of a run up from Modric. 2 players made a run to come short, Brozovic and Rebic. Now he'll back away again, Modric to take the corner kick. Vida's up there, Lovren also from the back. Mandzukic is also a natural target as it's actually headed away by Olivier Giroud in front of Hugo Lloris. Kanté will go across towards that far side, but once again Croatia pressing.
Great tempo by Croatia. France have got up the tempo, and they could be punished.
Rakitic with a cross from the right hand side. Perisic had made the run, good covering by the right back Pavard. Pogba now looking to turn, 360 degree turn, and caught by Rebic, and that's the type of thing that Rebic is capable of.
Yeah, well, he's warned there. Look, the referee's just gone over to him and said that's your chance, and I can guarantee you he will do another one.
Just a little bit overzealous. Dion Dublin, what have you made so far of this game?
What stuck out for me, Deno, is the Rakitic crossfield pass, which he played one of those for the last game against Vasalko. Perisic scores. They like a crossfield ball. France have got to be careful. Don't let him start to dictate this game.
I tell you what they've also got to be careful of is that the diagonal ball that Dion's talking about, but Perisic, when he makes those diagonal runs coming in off the left-hand side, similar to how he scored against England for the equaliser.
Full of confidence, Croatia. Everybody thought they'd be tired. That's why I thought France would have started very quick and given the 20 minutes where you thought, can you live with this tempo after all the hard games you've had? But they're playing into Croatia's hands. They're not pressing, they're letting them do what they want, and they're growing in confidence.
Ball played up towards Mandzukic, and Titi goes with him, leans into the back of him and through towards Subasic, the Monaco goalkeeper. And there is a bit of a curse regarding Monaco goalkeepers. The last 3 goalkeepers just break off because Rakitic to Modric. Modric midway through the France half. Good ball out to Strinic, the left back, level the penalty area, takes it on a little bit. Pavard backpedals. Perisic into the penalty box, just coming out by Umtiti. But the last 3 goalkeepers to lose a World Cup final have all been playing for Monaco at that time. Fabien Barthez, 2006, Stecklenburg, 2010, Sergio Romero at the last World Cup. Be aware of the curse of the Monaco keeper.
There you go. That's it, France have won.
It's his 4th major finals, is Subasic. The 33-year-old keeper recently just signed a 3-year deal with Monaco, where he's been since 2012. BBC Radio 5 Live, we're live inside the Luzhniki. It's France 0, Croatia 0. But Croatia have been the better team. Modric, Brozovic over the halfway line, right at the centre circle. 62% in terms of possession. Rakitic is forward, Strinic is alongside him, a left-footed ball over the top. Perisic tries to bring it down, just goes away off his left foot and out for a goal kick.
I'm really surprised Didier Deschamps not being out. He's come out now as we speak, but he surely can't be happy. I know he's got a game plan and it'll probably be counter-attack. That's what he's lined up as today for me, but you've still got to put a shift in when they get over the halfway line. You've got to get that ball back a lot quicker. You're letting them do exactly what you want.
And not only are you listening to BBC Radio 5 Live, but we also welcome listeners across the BBC World Service in Africa to the Luzhniki Stadium here in Moscow for this 2018 World Cup final. And we'll also be keeping you abreast of the men's singles final at Wimbledon, where Djokovic has won the first 2 sets 6-2 against Kevin Anderson. Commentary of that is on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra. France at the moment have a throw, level with the penalty area on that far side, the left, as they play from left to right in their blue. Not much movement, and easily dealt with by Croatia. Pogba, though, will go back to Umtiti on the halfway line, and here is Varane inside the centre circle. Pavard makes himself available on the right, quickly closed down by Perisic. A number of players who missed training on Friday. Perisic is constantly, it seems, being linked with Manchester United. But because of him and his presence, he's forced France to go back. A very, very conservative start by the French.
I'm surprised, really. I thought they'd really come out the blocks quick, and it's a final, and thought stamp their authority on the game, and they've just second best all over the park.
Modric thought he might have just been clipped there by Kante as he tried to slip away, but the referee said not. The referee from Argentina, and France now with Umtiti. Varane, who's had an excellent tournament, out to Mbappe. First touch let him down, and then Perisic couldn't keep the ball in play. That was the first time where Strinic has actually just given him a little bit of room, but it was interesting that Perisic then quickly closed him down.
There's a lot of where can you go when you get a ball like that? They've moved it across so slow. All the red shirts and red and white shirts are moving across where there's no space.
Ball swept forward towards Olivier Giroud, and it unable to bring it under control. It was always going away from him and out for a goal kick. Yet to have a shot on target, which is a remarkable statistic for Olivier Giroud. At the start of kick-off, he'd gone 8 hours and 22 minutes without a goal since he last scored against Ireland at the end of May. But when you think they won the World Cup in '98, Dugarry scored 1 goal.
Gone off the ball, collision.
It's Rebic who's gone down.
Everything could have happened there.
He's gone down holding his face. Or it's Perisic, in fact, who's on the right-hand side. So in fact they've actually swapped.
Yeah, they did that against England a couple of times.
So Perisic started out on the left, he's now switched to the right. Rebic is on this near side. There's Modric who he just seemed to just go. Was there any contact at all?
Well,
went down holding his face.
Somebody pulled the turf away, I think.
Modric forward, stopped by Hernandez. France now with Pogba just outside the centre circle, across towards this right-hand side for Mbappe. Pavard's gone ahead of him, tried the little back heel, didn't quite come off. He picked up that loose ball towards Varane. Infield now to Kante, midway through the French half as they play from left to right on BBC Radio 5 Live. Kante looks for a ball over the top, and Mbappe's making the run. Strunic's header will be picked up by Giroud from the left back of Croatia. Giroud has Rakitic sliding in. He's helped out now by Rebic on this left-hand side, and between a combination of Rakitic, Rebic and Strinic, they've dealt with that. Then they've given the ball away to Varane on the halfway line, and Varane will play the ball out towards Hernandez, the left back. Matuidi is to the left touchline. He goes high to the edge of the area towards Giroud. Griezmann, who we've hardly mentioned, heads the ball now to Mbappe. Mbappe looks to go on the outside of Strinic. He's into the penalty area. The cutback couldn't quite reach Griezmann. It ran off the legs of Rakitic, and Croatia have cleared. Hasn't gone out of play. Mbappe, right-hand side, challenged by Perisic along the ground. Now Croatia can't get out of their own half. Griezmann, fouled by Brozovic. Free kick.
It is a foul. That's the first time we saw Mbappe in the game, and that's what he's got, isn't he? He doesn't have to do a trick. He's got the pace on Strinic. Just has to brace him up, push it to the side, as we saw there. All right, the cross wasn't the best, and he struggled to get in the game a bit, but that really wasn't a free kick. We just saw a replay of that. Brozovic pulls away from the challenge. Griezmann goes to ground. It's a soft free kick. The referee's bought it.
So Griezmann is going to take this. It's about 15 yards in from the right touchline. You're looking at 10 yards outside the penalty area. It's right of centre. BBC Radio 5 Live with the World Cup final. France 0, Croatia 0. Varane is up from the back. There's Pogba in there, Mbappe, Umtiti. Croatia have, I was going to say a two-man wall, but they're not necessarily standing together at the moment. Modric, I think Brozovic is more concerned with Pavard, who lurks on the right corner of the penalty area. Griezmann goes in, headed in!
Goal.
France take the lead in the 2018 World Cup final. Flighted over, and it last touch came off Mandzukic, and France totally against the run of play score first, and Croatia once again concede first in the knockout stages. France 1, Croatia 0.
That could have been an offside, you know. Is it? No, I don't think it is. It could have been when you from the different angle we saw, but it's a good ball in, but really they should deal with that. The keeper's got no chance. Straight in the top corner, but it's against the run of play. But we keep saying this is a tournament of set pieces.
It's remarkable, Dion Dublin. Well, Trevor, first of all, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm so annoyed because, I mean, it was never, ever a free kick. Griezmann absolutely hardly got touched, went down, bought the free kick. It's in a perfect position, level 10 yards away from the corner of the 18-yard box where he's curled 2 or 3 of the goals that they've scored previously. He's just got a touch on Mandzukic's back header, but I am so annoyed that he's actually cheated to get the free kick.
Dion?
No, agreed. It wasn't a free kick, but the free kick he put in, he wasn't looking to find anybody. He just wants to put it into a dangerous area, and when you do that, anything can happen. It was an own goal. It came in off Mandzukic's head, and they're 1-up, having been not in the game.
And Dion, I mean, you read the Croatian banner. You've seen Croatia a lot in this competition. In all of the knockout matches now, they've conceded first.
Yeah, they have. Lapse in concentration, just that little bit of quality, just caught them off guard. They've been excellent, Croatia, absolutely excellent.
But France against the run of play, lead by a goal to nil. 20 minutes played on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Well, there's a free kick here on Kante against Modric. I don't know if this was a free kick, but the referees give this one as well. But going back to the free kick, how many teams have we seen defend deep on free kicks like that? Not many. Most of them get right up to the 18-yard box and say, well, if you're going to put it in behind, it's got to be a good ball. They defended very, very deep there, and that encouraged the ball in.
Well, it's actually now raining here in Moscow. We've got a patch of blue sky. Thunderstorms were forecast for this afternoon and this evening. And it's raining on the Croatian parade as they trail by a goal to nil. However, they got an early chance for a riposte here with a free kick level with the penalty area, right-hand side. BBC Radio 5 Live, where France are 1-0 up. Modric waits to take it. Rebic is in there, Lovren, Perisic, Mandzukic and Vida. They're their 5 red and white shirts to aim for. Modric now delivers it. Vida with the header. Always going over the top of the crossbar. France 1-0.
Yeah, just probably a little bit flat on the cross, wasn't it? Vida had to do a lot to direct on the target. It was slightly behind him. Maybe could have done with a little bit more height on it. He's basically pulling away when he heads it, so it was always going high. But you feel sorry for a little bit by Croatia. They've been the best side by far, but that's football.
So France are 1-0 up, and certainly will help them settle now, because they hadn't at all played with any rhythm in this first half, Chris.
No, they haven't. They've struggled, haven't they? It's all been about how to stop Croatia, and they haven't really done that very well. Maybe they'll say they haven't had a shot on goal, but Croatia's dominated the play, and they seem to have the better shape about them, but France have got 1 up, and there'll be no rush now, and they'll sit and play for the counter-attack and wait for the opportunity again if they're going to get a second.
France, who were the overwhelming favourites for this game. It was whoever would have progressed out of that semi-final on Tuesday night at St. Petersburg was always going to be, whether it be against Croatia or England. But Croatia, as the ball is stopped playing, the referee's blowing his whistle as Giroud tried to get away from Lovren. Let's get news of the third set at Wimbledon, the men's singles final with David Law at Wimbledon,
which has gone into a third set tiebreak. Kevin Anderson has actually had 5 set points, all of them seen off though by Novak Djokovic, who still leads by 2 sets to love. But we have a match on here. It's into a third set tiebreak.
France are on the break. Mbappe into the penalty area. Excellent sliding challenge by Vida on the edge of the centre circle, and it needed that intervention because Mbappe was away. Now Rakitic has carried the ball forward on this left-hand side. We're midway through the first half. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. If you want the tennis, that's on 5 Live Sports Extra. You can also listen and watch through the red button to our coverage on 5 Live. France 1, Croatia 0, and to take you through to half-time, here's our football correspondent John Murray.
Thanks, Ian, and you're absolutely right, Chris. If Vida hadn't made that sliding challenge there, Mbappe and Griezmann were going to be all over them.
They were, and that's, there's one thing you don't want, Mbappe running down on goal. We saw what he's done in this tournament already.
So it's a free kick, halfway inside the French half. On the left wing, France leading Croatia in the World Cup final by 1-0. Modric to strike this in, right-footed, which he does, and it's punched away securely and firmly by the Tottenham goalkeeper Hugo Lloris, the French captain. And then Mbappe, with a little run in field, claimed he was fouled. It's not been given. Perisic just played it out to Mandzukic on the right hand side. Mandzukic flights over the cross, and Rakitic hits the volley but he was stretching for it, and he has hit it way wide, and it's a goal kick to the French, who lead by 1-0.
Well, they're not happy. We're getting the benefit of a replay here, obviously. Look, Giroud's been tripped up by Lovren, and Umtiti's been pulled out the ground by Mandzukic, but there was a free kick and Mbappe got brought down in the middle of the park, and he didn't bring the game back. They played advantage, which obviously the French players are not happy with.
So it is France 1, Croatia 0. This is the World Cup final, live from Moscow, inside the massive circular bowl of the Luzhniki Stadium, the national stadium, which has been superbly rebuilt for this World Cup. We're just 2 or 3 goal kicks away from the Moscow River itself, and we're watching France leading through that unfortunate own goal. And as Dion Dublin, Trevor Brooking, Chris Waddle alongside us for the commentary have said, should never have been given as a free kick.
No, give Griezmann credit. Modern day, that's the way players go. They like to, we've saw a lot of it in this competition, let's be honest, a lot of diving, and he saw the challenge coming, and the referee bought it, simple as that. But I was surprised how deep they defended, John, to be honest.
Yeah, France therefore have edged ahead in their bid to win the World Cup for the second time. The first time 20 years ago. Kylian Mbappe wasn't even born when they won the World Cup back in 1998. He was born in the December. Here's Vida, who heads the ball away on the edge of the Croatian penalty area, plays it out to the right hand side. Vrsaljko there hits a long ball downfield. Croatia started so well in the game, but obviously conceding the goal a real blow. But as Ian Dennis said, you know, they're used to it. They've been behind in all 3 of the knockout matches so far in this World Cup, so make it 4, and they've had the resolve, they've had the experience and character to come back and win in all 3, even though 2 of them went to penalties.
Yeah, I think this is their hardest game though, and I think no disrespect the opposition they've played, they've had some hard teams. I'm not saying, but France are the best side they've played in this tournament so far.
And we'd be expecting now, Chris, France to control the game, try and control the game.
Slow it down when they have to. They'll try and manage the game. They'll play counter-attack, and I've got to see Mbappe's had one run. He's been very disappointing so far. He's lost the ball every time he's had it.
So a throw in. Lucas Hernandez is going to take this. The French number 21, Lucas Hernandez of Atletico Madrid. He started all of the matches. Ball though is lost by France, and then it's played up the right hand side but straight out of play, and clearly conceding the goal has rocked Croatia. They're going to have to dig deep, and France have a throw in, and they're in absolutely no hurry here, France, having scored the goal in the 18th minute. All manner of the great and good are here. We have seen a shot for the first time on our screens of Vladimir Putin, who's sitting in a white shirt and a red tie alongside the FIFA president Gianni Infantino. France with Mbappe, plays the ball in field. Pavard tried to play it back down the right wing, but Mbappe had been ushered off the field by the left back Strinic, so wasn't able to get there. And Croatia, in these mainly white shirts with the red check front, now break forward from the halfway line. Perisic was cutting across. Kante, who caught his heels, fouled him. It's a free kick, left of centre in the French half, and it's a yellow card for Kante.
Yeah, Perisic, he's unlucky, Kante, to be fair. Perisic runs across the lane where Kante's coming behind him, crossing the lane. He just accidentally catches his calf, knocks it onto his other calf, and they fall over. I wouldn't say it was a yard, but you could see because it was 3-on-2, that's why he's given it.
Certainly a contender for the player of this World Cup, N'Golo Kante. He's an ever-present in all of France's matches here. But they've got a free kick, and we know they can be effective from set pieces. Mind you, they've conceded another goal from a set piece. Croatia, that is 5 of the 6 goals conceded from set pieces. But here they have one. Rakitic runs over the ball, and Modric then plays it in towards the back post, where it's nodded back across into the penalty area. Pogba on the stretch, still bouncing in the area. Vida, back to Perisic, left foot, shoots and scores, and it's 1-1. That's brilliantly finished for Croatia from Perisic. They've responded to going a goal down in their first ever World Cup final, and it's back level, 1-1.
Wow, what a goal that is, by the way. Well worked free kick. They all went early, and they thought, well, you're offside. Sacco comes round the back, heads him back across the goal. Bit of scramble, to be fair. France should have dealt with it a lot better. They all switch up as the ball comes back into the box. There's a bit of presence in there, but nothing great. We'll give Perisic credit as it comes to him. Off the right foot, takes it, left foot, across Lloris, 15 yards out. Absolutely no chance. Great goal.
He scored in the semi-final against England to make it 1-1, and here he's driven it from an angle. Lloris diving to his left. It was past him before he knew it really, and it's 1-1. Trevor Brooking, Dion Dublin.
Oh, it's a great strike. I mean, they worked it well. About 5 of them almost run into the offside position. They went to the back post, nodded it a couple of times, and it ended up near Perisic, near the edge of the penalty area. Interesting one was the person who closed him down was Kante, had just been booked, so he was really conscious not to make a dodgy challenge. Perisic just moved it a yard or two to his left and hit a real screaming low shot that they had no chance, and they're back in the game. Very, very important, I think, to get back that early. I say relatively early, but 10 and 11 minutes since they went behind.
The most disappointing thing for France there, Sir Trev, was there was 3 headers in the box and Croatia won all of them. That's the disappointing thing. Terrible defending.
So it's France 1, Croatia 1 here in Moscow. But back to London, because at Wimbledon,
Novak Djokovic has won his 4th Wimbledon title. A big serve down the centre. Kevin Anderson nets, and he put up a stern test in the 3rd set, did Anderson. He had 5 set points, but as the players embrace at the net, it is Novak Djokovic winning 6-2, 6-2, 7-6 to win his 4th Wimbledon title.
Well, thanks, David Law. You'll hear all of the reaction, the interviews and the analysis from our team at Wimbledon over on 5 Live Sports Extra. And there have been some great contests at this Wimbledon. That clearly was not one of them. I believe that Goran Ivanisevic is here inside the stadium. He is watching, presumably absolutely thrilled that Croatia are back on level terms in this game, Chris.
Well, you've got to say, John, they've deserved it, haven't they? Let's be honest, since the start of the game they've been the better side. France got really a goal from a set piece, which they didn't really deserve, but Croatia's been very positive the way they've come out the blocks, passed it really well, good tempo about them, they've asked questions down the flanks, so I think they definitely deserved that equaliser.
That's Perisic's 3rd goal at this World Cup, and it means that it is France 1, Croatia 1. With the skies darkening again overhead, we have had a short, sharp shower. So the service will be a little greasy as Rakitic of Barcelona runs the ball away. Mandzukic of Juventus has a little touch. Then Rakitic forward with his right foot. The goal scorer Perisic will struggle to get to that. In fact, as he does so, he bundles over Hernandez, and it's a free kick to France in their own left back position.
Did he just give the throw in? I think he just gave a throw in there. I don't think he's given a free kick.
Right. Well, it's debatable. It's only a throw in. France 1, Croatia 1. Yes, up in the posh seats, Emmanuel Macron, the French president, is there. Mrs. Macron has come from this one as well, Chris. Brigitte, I saw pictures of them walking into the ground hand in hand. And the colourful president of Croatia is here again. Kolinda Grabar-Kitarovic is sitting up there, probably not far away from the Macrons. We haven't seen a shot of her since the start of the match. I'm not sure if she's in full kit again today. France 1, Croatia 1. Clearance from Subasic, all in green down to our right, and the ball's headed out of play for a throw-in to Croatia. The mainly white shirt with the red trim over the shoulders and the red and white checks on the front, and France in their first choice kit, the stylish dark blue of Les Bleus. Here's Modric now to the right hand side to Versalco, and then back again to Modric with his lank fair hair up towards Mandzukic, who heads it off towards the right-hand side. Mandzukic making ground into the penalty area, but the cross is far too close to Lloris.
Well, it's what you're looking at, one team who's thoroughly relaxed and enjoying the occasion. You look at the other team who are scared, very, very scared.
Long clearance downfield from Lloris, and Vida running across to his left with Mbappe there, just stretched for it and headed it straight behind for a corner.
It's a great out ball, isn't it? If they're stood on the halfway line, the centre circle, out of his hand, straight over the top, you know he's going to catch it.
So we've had 2 goals already from set pieces in this World Cup final, and it is a corner to the French, their first corner of the match. Griezmann has come across to take it, and the French big men are now arriving. Umtiti and Varane, and they're doing in England here. We've seen it's a French conga now near the penalty spot. Griezmann waiting to take this, left-footed in swinger. Referee Pitana is just 1 or 2 words with Mbappe, who's close to Subasic. So, corner to France. Griezmann into the 6-yard box, a glancing header wider than near post.
Handball.
And there are shouts for handball in there. It was Matuidi who got the touch for France, and they are imploring referee Pitana to ask the video assistant referee about this. And he's putting his hand to his ear, so there's clearly a conversation going on. We're now seeing it, Chris. Well, it's glanced. Whether it gets a touch off Matuidi or not, I'm not sure. Yes, it does.
It's Perisic.
Perisic's arm is...
And it's a handball.
Is out to the left of his body at an angle.
Oh, it's a handball. I don't think the referee will be brave enough.
But the contact is so close from Matuidi, who's just in front of Perisic.
You've got to appeal for it, though, haven't you? Got to.
Well, the conversation has gone on. What do you two think? What do you two think, Dion, Trevor?
I wouldn't give it. I think he got a slight header and it just hit Perisic, and he's gone to have a look at it. He's going to be called across to judge it. I think they'd be unlucky to give the pen.
We've now seen on the screen, Dion, here, that is telling us possible penalty, handball. And so therefore they want the referee to come and have a look at this and to see if his instinct, to see if he had the clear view, and if he now, on seeing it again, will change his mind and feel that this is a handball and it's a penalty. So one of the big issues at this World Cup was that we were using the video assistant referee for the first time, and here we are now in the World Cup final itself, and a big decision now has been referred to the video assistant referee. The Argentine ref, Néstor Pitana, is looking inside his little perspex area at the screen, which is showing him the replays. He's in discussions. We can see that on our pictures here. He's in discussions with his team, the video assistant referee, who is the Italian Massimiliano Irrati. And what is he going to do? He's walking... Oh no, he's having another look. He walked away, and then he suddenly turned back to the screen, and they are still talking about it. And now, here he is, walking away. What is he going to do? And he is running, and he's giving a penalty. He's giving a penalty to France. With the aid of the video assistant referee, a penalty has been given to France for handball.
Well, I've got to say, I know Trevor might say no and Dion might say no, but at the end of the day, I mean, his hands are down by his side slightly, but I would have given it. I know they'll not, but I would have. So,
Dion?
No, it is. It's a handball. It's hit his hand, clearly hit his hand, and you can always tell if he's guilty or not guilty by the reaction of your opponent. There was 8, maybe 7 or 8 blue shirts there, and every single France player put their hand up and say handball, handball, handball. When you are opinion like that, you often get it. They knew it hit his hand.
I don't like this, so John, when they get around the ref.
There's not going to change his mind. Down there in the penalty area now. Look, he's made the decision. He's consulted the video assistant referee. It's been a lengthy process. The decision has been made, and the Croatia players are complaining about it, and they gathered around him. And once again at this World Cup, we are seeing a long delay before a penalty's taken. Now this is interesting because Griezmann has already scored with 2 penalties at this World Cup, and here he's going to face one of the penalty-saving spectacular goalkeepers of this World Cup in his line.
Why doesn't he get his card out? Look.
And now finally he walks back, and he actually walks into the goal, Subasic, and still there are Croatia players inside the box, and Subasic has walked off his line again towards the penalty spot. And referee Pitana is saying to him, go back to your line, and he's actually walking with him back to the goal line, and he's telling him, stay there. Right, we're ready now. This to put France back in front in the World Cup final. The referee, final instructions to the players to stay out of the penalty area. So it's the left foot of Antoine Griezmann to put France back in front. Here he comes, and he sends goalkeeper Subasic the wrong way. It's Griezmann's 4th goal at this World Cup, and he peels away and is joined by his teammates, and there's a celebration actually in front of the Croatia supporters at their end of the ground. But it is France 2, Croatia 1.
Brilliant pen, got to say, brilliant. He is great at them, you've got to say, Griezmann. He just jogs up, watches the keeper, never panics, just side foots it straight past him, other side. Great pen, calm, really cool. Jogs up, left foot, brilliant.
Dion?
Doesn't surprise me, that's what he does. Calm as you like. We've seen the penalty now, but before that we've seen the handball again. It's harsh on Croatia, but it's a handball. We've got to give it.
Trevor.
Well, he took the pen well, composed, waited for the keeper to go and just stroked it in the other corner. I wouldn't think it was a pen. Matuidi got a touch to it, and that's deflected it, and he's hit his arm. Yeah, and his hand is a little bit away from the body, but he couldn't get it out of the way. And I just think, well, if that ends up winning the World Cup, that's going to be a travesty, really. And the other thing that I'm sure they'll think back at is Vida, where the long kick downfield, he back-headed it to give the corner.
However, here come Croatia. Perisic with the cross, and near the penalty spot, Rebic he miskicked. He mishit it near the penalty spot, and it was deflected into the path of Lloris, who was able to pick up.
Well, again, getting down the flanks, playing the full-backs, great early ball in. You've got to say you feel for Croatia. Griezmann free kick, which wasn't the pen. People can argue and debate all about. Yes, Mbappe have not seen.
Mbappe now off on the right wing, and he's away. He's away from both Strinic and Perisic. He crosses into the penalty area. Brozovic, and Croatia can't get it away, and finally Brozovic is able to whack it upfield towards Rebic, who's chasing it and might have been caught there by Hernandez. Well, the free kick's been given.
No, he's getting his card. The referee's lost the plot.
Yellow card for Hernandez. So Croatia have a good right to feel hard done to here. 2-1 down, and they've conceded from an own goal and a controversial penalty call, which has split our team here as to whether it should have been given or not. But the video assistant referees have looked at it. The referee himself went and checked it again. The penalty was given. So it is 2-1 to France. BBC Radio 5 Live. You can listen via the BBC Sport app as well. The BBC World Service across Africa are with us too, so great to have you with us for the World Cup final. TSN in Canada as well, and also you can listen, because the game is live on BBC television. If you would like to, if you're on your way home when you get there, you can continue to listen to our 5 Live commentary if you press the red button and follow the instructions. I know it can be a little tricky to find if you're not technically savvy, as I know some people aren't, but if you are persistent, you will find it. France leading Croatia by 2-1, and when Griezmann scored that penalty, there were flashes of lightning and thunderclaps going on around the stadium here, and it certainly does feel fresher, doesn't it now? A little fresher.
A little bit.
Throw into France, level with the edge of their own penalty area, so lots to discuss at half-time with Mark Chapman, who's here with us. Croatia with Modric, little ball infield, Rakitic taking it on, Pogba tracked the run, the ball ran away, and it's played forward by Pavard. Vida was always the favourite to get there, even though it was Mbappe.
I've got to say, just got to keep playing the way they are, Croatia, and obviously don't leave Mbappe on his own, which they have a couple of times in the last 10 minutes, but apart from that, they've been the best team, they've played the best football, and they'll feel very, very unlucky that they're 2-1 down in this World Cup final.
Yeah, and we know that this Croatia team, it's got a steely core, as England found out in the semi-final. And here they are winning the ball back over on near the halfway line. Mandzukic was challenged initially, and I think the referees brought it back for a foul on Mandzukic on the far side, shoved over by Umtiti. So it's a free kick out towards the right-hand side. The score, France 2, Croatia 1. Griezmann's now done a Harry Kane. He scored 3 penalties at this World Cup, and he has 4 goals, so 2 behind Harry Kane. All of the various awards will be handed out before the World Cup itself after the final here inside the Luzhniki. Free kick then as half-time approaches. Just over 2 minutes of the first 45 to play. Modric to deliver this in, which he does towards the back post, and it's headed by Perisic. It took a deflection. Pavard headed it away, and it's driven back in by Lovren, who was up for the set piece, hit a French defender, and then deflected crazily behind for a corner.
And they've struggled, France, with set pieces. It's the first time we saw them in the tournament where they're all over the place here. Pavard just heads it anywhere. Lovren lashes this off Pogba and out for a corner.
Rakitic to take it from the left-hand side as Croatia attack from right to left as well, looking in the direction of Les Bleus. The French supporters twirling their tricolours. Rakitic takes this in, there's a glance on, it's come off a defender, but actually it deflected back from where it came out towards the corner flag. Suffered from an optical illusion there. I thought it was flying into the net. It was nowhere near. It's another Corner, Rakitic, second consecutive corner into the near post. Defenders collide, attackers and defenders collide, and then the ball drops down and it's thundered away by Varane towards the halfway line. Sent back out towards Rakitic, who leaps, heads it back in field. There's a French player down inside the box. Rebic is trying to take it into the area. He's blocked by Pogba, and then it bounces behind, and the referee's got to walk across and see how Umtiti is. He's the French player who is down.
Well, he's had a lot of trouble with his knee in this tournament. Every time he goes into any challenge, he seems to hold it. It's not a penalty, it's not a foul. Lovren, he's went with the ball, but he's landed on his knee, and
Lovren, I think, landed on it.
Yeah. So
as the challenge for the aerial ball. So we've got a stoppage here. France 2, Croatia 1. Let's get further thoughts from our other England internationals who are with us here at the World Cup final, Dion Dublin and Trevor Brooking.
Yeah, I think what he's done there, I think he's just got to nudge it. The worrying thing is he hasn't actually moved, and he looks in a lot of pain. They're trying to move it now. Hopefully he'll be behind, but the referee's got to help him out a little bit, especially with the free kick that you mentioned, Trevor, with who was it, on Modric? No, it wasn't. It was on the Griezmann one. You know, the Griezmann one there? When he get a touch. Yeah. That you've got to see that. There was no touch at all. I don't like that at all. I class that as cheating. They're lucky at the moment, France. Very lucky to be in the situation they are. But Croatia won't go away, John. They will not go away. They will still fight. They will still battle. They'll still be in their faces.
This has been given as a corner. Rakitic is taking it. It's glanced across the face of goal and wide by Vida, the central defender.
They've looked very threatening from set pieces, Croatia, haven't they? They've worked on a few, I think, because they weren't like this against England when I saw them. They just put it in the box, but they seem to have been working on them, whether they've saw weakness in the French defence from set pieces, but they've looked very threatening.
France 2, Croatia 1. If you've just got back into your car back home, there's a massive thunderclap overhead and lightning still flashing. 3 minutes of added time we're into at the end of the first half. Back in London at Wimbledon, Novak Djokovic with a very comfortable victory, straight sets over Kevin Anderson. We'll have more on that at half-time in this game. Also the Scottish Open continuing to unfold. We'll have more on that and the Tour de France as well, I'm sure, on yet another busy sporting Sunday afternoon. But here, the biggest game of football that you could possibly see is being won by the French, who are going for their second World Cup triumph. Perisic playing it forward. Mandzukic tries to chest it forward. Umtiti is back on the field, by the way, and I guess they'll have another look at him at half-time, but he seems okay.
He's had it every game, John. I've seen it. I don't know if he's got a problem with his medial ligament. Sometimes when he kicked the ball wrong, it sometimes moves it, and it does ache for a few minutes. But
Lloris launches the one downfield. Giroud it hits him on the knee and bounces wickedly away, nowhere near anyone in a blue shirt. And Croatia have possession with Versalco, who I think himself is being nursed through the latter stages of this World Cup. The Croatia right back from Atletico Madrid. He has had a bit of a knee problem. Here is Vida with his limp, fine ponytail. Now Versalco up towards the halfway line, where it bounces for France and will be taken forward from the central area. No, an attempted pass for Mbappe, but it was overhit by a distance and whizzed away through for a goal kick. Hernandez with the pass. A number of people have come to the World Cup final with whistles, it seems, and are intent on blowing them. So it's not half-time yet. It was somebody in the crowd. Here's Modric. Modric bundled over by Matuidi. That's a free kick. Modric wanted to take it quickly. Matuidi got in the way of that. And now Modric does take it. And Brozovic plays it to the right-hand side. And here's the cross into the 6-yard box. And there was hesitation there. And no one got a touch. And Perisic, the closest to it for Croatia, races after it, keeps it in. And then Strinic concedes a foul.
Well, that should be a yellow. Strinic there just he sees Mbappe get the other side and he thinks no chance, and look, we're seeing a better. That's a yellow, right? Well, I'd say what Croatia have done brilliant. Some of the balls have put in the box, absolute quality. Doesn't matter how good you are as a defender, they're difficult to defend against.
So therefore there's plenty of hope for Croatia.
Oh, listen, Croatia will go and can't feel sorry. They'll say, look, you're the best team, by far the best team. France haven't turned up for all the 2-1 up. They haven't. What are France showing? Nothing.
So what a dramatic scene we have here. There's a thunderstorm, lightning and thunder rolling across the Russian capital. The World Cup final has reached halfway. Certainly plenty of discussion points. France 2-1 up, Mandzukic own goal and an Antoine Griezmann penalty, which was given after a lengthy process. The referee consulting VAR. It was given for handball against Perisic after it was glanced onto him by Matuidi, and in between times Ivan Perisic scored a very good goal with his left foot. So half-time here in Moscow, France leading Croatia by 2-1. And Mark Chapman is here with us.
Chris Waddle, who's worse, France or the referee?
Well, the referee's ball. I've got to say, Mark, I think the second one's a pen. I know people are not going to object, and that's the game of football, but I think that is a pen. The first one, Griezmann, whatever you say, he cheated, he dived, he did it well, he bought the free kick, the referee, and they've scored from it. So you can say they should defend it better, and it shouldn't have happened anyway. But the referee, for the second one, Mark, I know people are going to talk about it, but I would have give it.
But if the ball comes off Matuidi's head, and you are half a yard away, and his hand was maybe a 25-degree angle from his side or something. It wasn't.
Yeah, but it's hit it clean on, hasn't it? Really, it's like hit it, bang, palm, it's hit it clean on. So he stopped the ball going through with his hand.
I'm just not quite sure where else he could have put his hand in that. That's all, really.
No, he's unlucky. I'm not saying he meant it. It's such meant, but he's unlucky. But that's, if he doesn't give that, the referee was under immense pressure, by the way, to give it or not. Whichever way he give it, he was a loser. He cannot win. He's going to get criticised for giving it. If he hadn't, France draw or lose the game, they'll say you should have given it. He can't win. So he's going to get criticism whichever way you look at it, but I would have given it.
I agree that the referee couldn't win in that situation, but the laws of the game, it's got to be deliberate handball. And the referee, when he looks at it, would say, is the arm in an unnatural position? I don't believe it is. I think, if anything, it's got a downward momentum. He's leaping in the air and he's bringing his arm back down as it strikes his hand. So I personally wouldn't have given it.
I mean, just away from that incident, Trevor and Dion, and Trevor first. I mean, France have been, well, poor, and that's putting it kindly.
That's being generous. They haven't been good at all. I've got to say, I'm pleasantly surprised at Croatia, to be fair. I thought they might start a little bit slowly, get back into it. They started great, they pressed them, they took the initiative, and to a certain extent, even with the goals that then went in at the other end, they finished well at the end. They could have got level easily. So the first 45 minutes, they deserved to be ahead, let alone behind. I think the first goal, that probably even, frustrated me more than the second, where, is it a handball or not? The first one was no way a free kick, and
actually at this tournament, a lot of referees, when players have gone down, have said get up, and they haven't been giving yellow cards for diving, but they haven't been giving free kicks as soon as a player has fallen over. But that is what he has done. This referee's given a free kick every time somebody's gone down.
I actually think they should use VAR on things like that. It would take a second. It wouldn't even have took 5 seconds max. Somebody sat here, tell him in his headpiece, he's dived, book him, and give the free kick to Croatia.
Having said that, reacted that you couldn't have reacted, and so I think that was harsh. Then even initially the corner to get it, Vida made a mistake. It was a big kick down the whole length of the pitch. He was trying to get under, and head it properly, but he got underneath it. He back-headed it, and it back-headed about 30-40 yards to give the corner away, which then, gave that big debate. So, they're desperately unlucky to be behind.
Desperately unlucky, Dion, but as Trevor says, they've also contributed to their own downfall with how they defended. First that free kick and Vida's header that conceded the corner.
The reason why Vida headed the ball like that was because Vida was half thinking to himself, Lloris is kicking quickly and he doesn't want it to go to Mbappe's feet. So he was half thinking, do I go short or do I go long? He got caught in two minds and then he got caught in no man's land. That's why he was in the wrong position and he had to gamble with that header. in regards to Griezmann, the tackle that wasn't on Griezmann, I'm going to have to disagree with my pal Wadler. I don't like to see that. I know you don't like to see it either, Wadler, but diving like that, I'd hate to see somebody win the World Cup through diving and getting a free kick that's got them a goal.
Hold on, I said book him.
Yeah, you said go to VAR and get it to VAR.
Get Griezmann.
Book him.
Yeah, it should be. They should look at that and straight away go to it and say, the referee said, have a quick check, or gets a piece thing in his ear, takes a second. He's dived. And then he should have booked Griezmann, give the free kick to Croatia.
You're agreeing. You're all agreeing.
Wadler said he'd done it well.
No, you're all agreeing.
I'm sorry, Wadler. Don't know trouble.
France are 2-1 up on Croatia at half-time in the 2018 World Cup final. In the men's singles final at Wimbledon, Novak Djokovic has claimed a 4th title with a straight sets win over Kevin Anderson. We'll go there shortly, but first, coming up to 5-5, here's the latest BBC News.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet, this is BBC 5 Live.
With the 5 Live News, I'm Alison Acton. Donald Trump says Theresa May end up taking his advice about Brexit down the line. The Prime Minister has revealed that the US President suggested she sue the EU rather than negotiate with it. Meanwhile, Mr Trump is on his way to Finland following his 4-day trip to the UK. In Helsinki, he'll meet with Russia's President Putin. David Cameron's replacement as MP for Witney and West Oxfordshire has resigned as a ministerial aide over Theresa May's plans for Brexit. Robert Courts says he had to think about who he wanted to see when he looked in the mirror. 12 boys and their football coach who were trapped in a Thai cave for 2 weeks have been paying their respects to a diver who died during the mission to rescue them. Navy SEAL Saman Ganan ran out of air while installing oxygen tanks in the flooded cave complex. And a Liverpool fan who was attacked ahead of the Champions League semi-final in April is thought to have regained consciousness. 2 Italian men have been charged with attacking Sean Cox before the match against Roma.
This is BBC 5 Live on digital, smart speaker, smartphone and tablet.
Well, on the roads, things do seem to be improving. We no longer have any motorway closures as such, but still some long delays. So the M6 southbound in Staffordshire, still very slow traffic. It was due to an earlier fatal accident between junction 14 for Stafford North and 13 for Stafford South. All lanes have reopened there, but still long queues. Similarly, on the M1 northbound in Nottinghamshire, it was closed earlier because of 2 overturned vehicles. They have now been cleared, but there are long delays and queues. It's due to a broken down vehicle now that's causing problems between junction 26 for Nottingham and 27 for Hucknall. And the M25 in Kent clockwise, 1 lane closed and queuing traffic is due to an overturned vehicle there. It's between junction 4 for Orpington and junction 5 for the M26. Alison Acton, 5 Live Travel.
This is 5 Live. More
Live Premier League football.
That's what it's like on Radio 5 Live.
than anyone else.
Salah's through! Salah's scored for Liverpool!
Lukaku finds the goal that he was looking for. More Premier League commentaries than anybody else.
More than any other UK broadcaster.
Right through the middle, and then a deflection, and then...
So Snapton, equalising goal for Vardy.
Dele Alli scores at St James's Park.
Pogba from the angle, what a delicate chip. Headed in by Sturridge. Harry Kane has done it again. What a Premier League season we've got for you here on BBC 5 Live.
The Premier League returns next month. This is your football station. This is 5 Live. 5 Live.
5 Live Sports.
The World Cup final. France against Croatia with Mark Chapman.
And it's the French who lead at half-time by 2-1. A Mandzukic own goal. Perisic equalised for the Croats, then Griezmann from the penalty spot 7 minutes from half-time. Let's get all the details done on Novak Djokovic's win in the men's singles at Wimbledon. Ellie.
Thanks, chappers. Yes, from stormy Moscow to a sun-bathed centre court, where a few minutes ago this happened.
This is a second championship point for Novak Djokovic. Serves, forehand return, into the net from Kevin Anderson. Djokovic sinks very slowly onto his haunches, takes off his cap and walks very slowly to the net. The magnitude of the occasion does not yet seem to have struck him. But after 2 years of misery, really, by his standards on the court, Djokovic has bounced back in style.
A fourth Wimbledon title for Novak Djokovic. You heard our correspondent Russell Fuller with the commentary there. And Russell, bearing in mind, back at the French Open, he said he might not play the grass court season. What an achievement this is for Novak Djokovic.
Yes, and even though I think that was always very unlikely, it was an indication of his state of mind, having just lost to Marco Cecchinato outside the world's top 70 in the last 8 at Roland Garros. But he played so well at Queen's, he nearly won the title, pipped by Marin Cilic. He's beaten Rafa Nadal, the world number 1, over 5.25 hours in the semi-finals, and now in this final dominated the first 2 sets 6-2, 6-2, under a lot of pressure in the third set, but when it mattered he played a champion's tiebreak and won comfortably in straight sets.
And was it that 6.5 hours semi-final, do you think, that had an effect on Kevin Anderson's fitness?
Unquestionably it was a factor. It was the most likely interpretation. We were trying to be optimistic. We'd seen the way he fought against John Isner in that 5th set, and we thought maybe his fitness means that he will still be able to play a meaningful part in this final, but he was off the pace in the first 2 sets. Yes, Djokovic played consistently really well, as he has done throughout the championships. It was only in the 3rd set, really, where Anderson started to loosen up a little bit. We saw the aces landing, and he was really going for broke and coming into the net more, but ultimately, by then, Ellie, against a guy like Novak Djokovic, the horse had bolted.
Well, just a few minutes ago, in front of us here on centre court, we had the traditional presentation of the gold trophy to Novak Djokovic, and afterwards, Sue Barker asked him how he feels to be back after a tricky 18 months.
I had to really trust the process, and I've said this before. I mean, I had to trust in myself. I'm very grateful. I owe a great thanks to my team, to everyone who has been supporting me in the last couple of years that haven't been that easy. I had a surgery and was absent from the tour for 6 months and faced for the first time this kind of a severe injury, and I didn't really know what's expecting me. I had many moments of doubt and didn't know really if I could come back to the level to compete. And this was my first Grand Slam final after a couple of years, and there is no better place in the world to really make a comeback. This is a sacred place for world of tennis. I always dreamed of holding this trophy as a young boy starting to play tennis, so this is very special. The grass tasted really well.
I noticed you went for it again.
Yes, I had a double portion this year to treat myself. I've had that privilege to be part of this finals for now 5 times, and I won 4 titles. I'm really proud of it. It's a pleasure to be playing in front of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. The Wimbledon champion, Novak Djokovic.
And Novak Djokovic, whose 5-year-old son Stefan sat on the edge of the players' box and applauded his dad. It was a really poignant moment for Novak Djokovic, who looks so happy to be back. Russell, is he now back to his best? Are we going to see him competing for the US Open? Obviously, is the next Grand Slam.
Well, he's just said in an interview with ESPN that he thinks he's very close to his peak level, if not better. So look at the way he's played and the players that he's had to beat, particularly Rafael Nadal along the way, and he will feel hugely encouraged at the age of just 31 as he heads to New York with now 13 Grand Slam titles, 1 behind Pete Sampras, 4 behind Rafael Nadal, and 7 behind Roger Federer.
That era of the greats of the game continues. The last 7 Grand Slam titles now won by Novak Djokovic and, of course, Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. We're about to see the mixed doubles final between Jamie Murray and Victoria Azarenka and Peja and Melichar, and you can listen to that on 5 Live Sports Extra. But Chappers, well, there's something brilliantly English about this scene and considerably less controversial than your first half in Moscow.
And Croatia already back out here in the Luzhniki Stadium. Thank you, Ellie. France will be on their way. Let's just get a quick update from the final round of the Scottish Open from Ian Carter.
Eddie Pepperell out in front, the Englishman at 16 under par. He's playing the 14th as we speak. Still a packed leaderboard. There are no fewer than 11 players within 3 shots of the lead. His closest rivals, Thomas Pieters, Brandon Stone and the Englishman Aaron Rai, all 1 shot behind, as is the overnight leader Jens Dantorp. But Ricky Fowler, 3 shots back, isn't done yet, and it's heading into an absorbing climax here at Gullen.
Thank you very much, Ian. France just making their way back out as well, so we are ready to go for the second half of the World Cup final. France 2, Croatia 1. Back to Chris Waddle, John Murray and, first of all, Ian Dennis.
Do you know the penalty, the controversial penalty that has split the commentary team here? Do you know where we would all be in unison? Is that this guy who's sat behind Sir Trevor Brooking, right, he's a French commentator, and I know it's a hot evening, I get that, but his shirt is unbuttoned all the way down to his belly button. Seriously, if you look behind you, it'll put you off your evening meal. There are standards in a press box. I mean, I've seen many journalists wearing the national shirt of their team, but that's going beyond. Anyway, and you thought it was bad working with me, Mark Chapman. I'd never do that. Probably a good job either, although I'm not as portly as he is. Anyway, we're back underway. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. This is the World Cup final here in the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. I think the thunderstorm is still rumbling on above the stadium. There is an ominous cloud high up away to our right-hand side. Neither side has made a change as France lead Croatia by 2-1. So France in the blue are playing from right to left as we look against the red and white of Croatia, with the checks on the front of their shirts, and they're looking to come from behind for a second time. And straight away Veselko wins the ball, and Modric now to Rakitic, switches it back out to Rebic. Rebic now will come forward, nudges the ball on to Veselko, who's continued his run, works over a low cross as well from the right-hand side, and saved by Lloris. So here are the two teams. Lloris is in goal for France. Pavard, Umtiti, Varane and Hernandez the defence, the midfield, Kante and Pogba, Matuidi, Mbappe on the right, and Griezmann behind Giroud. And here is Giroud, yet to have a shot on target in this World Cup. He plays the ball back, Griezmann with a shot, and easily saved by Daniel Sibacic in the goal for Croatia. The defence in front of him, Veselko on the right-hand side, Lovren and Vida the two central defenders, Strinic is the left-back, a midfield of Brozovic who holds, then Rebic on the right, Rakitic, Modric and Perisic, and Mandzukic is up front. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, well, we're just looking here. We've got to say, I was saying at half time there, I can't see France playing any worse than they did first half. I know they were 2-1 up, but they were very below performance what we're used to seeing a French team. I know they started the tournament not very well, but the last few games have played well, been well organised, but they've actually done well when they've had the ball in first half. It's the poorest I've seen them play.
Well, they were helped by the first own goal in a World Cup final by Mandzukic after 19 minutes, and in fact it was the highest scoring first half in a World Cup final since 1974 when West Germany beat Holland. As Rebic takes a shot and it tipped over by Lloris with a waft of his left hand. He turned the ball behind for a corner, and Croatia once again threatened for another equaliser.
Well, that's Paul Pogba, doesn't win his tackle. Rakitic looks one way, passes the ball the other. I think Rebic was just claiming it was going over the bar, but Lloris had to take no risks and pushed away corner, and they've been good so far, set pieces.
So Croatia, trailing by 2-1, are attacking the end where a lot of their supporters are. Modric with an outswinger. Lovren comes up from the back. Vida can't get there, nudged away, tried to be won back by Rebic, and it's the last touch off him off his right foot and runs out of play for a goal kick. The only side to lose a World Cup final when they were ahead at half-time, Argentina, all the way back in 1930. But as Sir Trevor Brooking said earlier, Chris Waddle, you've got a lot of sympathy for Croatia.
Listen, they've been the best side for me. I can't believe they're sitting at changing room half-time, 2-1 down. I'm sure the manager said, look, just do what you've done. You know, I haven't had any luck. Just keep doing what you've done. You can win this game, because, as I said just before there, France have been very disappointing.
Don't forget you can have your say after all of the ceremony with 606, Conor McNamara and John Motson, 08085 909 and 693 as Griezmann tries to come forward, stopped by Rebic on this right-hand side as Croatia play from left to right. Brozovic looks for a searching ball over the top. Perisic has made the run. Lloris quick thinking. There was a little touch there off the foot of Varane, and Lloris was outside of his penalty area. He couldn't pick it up and he just chested it.
Great ball. You know what I like about Croatia though? They play positive. It's all attack and they get it wide at times, but they're always looking to attack, get forward. It's not one of them teams who just park the bus. They try to get attack after attack after attack.
Strinic, Varane caught in possession by Mandzukic. Mandzukic into the penalty area, tried to find Perisic, and France have dealt with a danger. Pavard's clearance though has been hooked out of play, and Croatia have started the second half just as they did the first. Very well.
I wouldn't be saying it so long before they make a change, France, because they are all over the place at the minute. There's no midfield.
Modric trying to chip the ball into Rebic. He wins the ball back on the right hand side. Matuidi comes back at him, but it's gone out for a corner kick, and it's a very positive start for Croatia.
A set piece, very good at set pieces, of course, the threat all the time.
Brozovic currently unmarked at the far post. Mandzukic, Vida, in it comes now, touched away by Griezmann, and in the end the effort Vasalko was well wide. So 5 minutes into the second half, let's get the early thoughts from Sir Trevor Brooking and Dion Dublin.
Well, they just started where they left off. Croatia, excellent. Pushing forward, look a yard or two quicker when you think 3 extra times, and actually you might have been showing signs of tiredness. That they're looking good. And we've got to say, though disagree, with a couple of the goals that France have scored, it's been a dramatic final, like the whole tournament.
Mandzukic out to Rebic, and City comes across to deal with the danger, snuffs it out for a throw. Dion.
Yeah, France just want too much time on the ball. Croatia are energetic. Every time they get the ball, France have got a Croatian player in their face, making it uncomfortable. France have got it up a gear. They're not quite at it, France. Croatia are.
There's a variation as well to Croatia's play. Sometimes they play it long, sometimes they play it short, they can play it quick. They are mixing it up as well. They are by far the superior side.
Oh, definitely. They've controlled the game from the kick-off for me. First half, they were better side, then the start of the second half the same. So, but I'm just looking at France. What can he do? Lamarck, come on, Tolisso. They've got to change something. They just can't get a hold of the ball. Pogba's not touched it. Mbappe has been a spectator on that right wing.
Rebic has nudged the ball behind Vasalko. Matuidi gives it away. Vasalko gets it back. Croatia from left to right on the ball now. Brozovic forward of the centre circle. Everybody for France in those two-tone blue tops are behind the ball. Out to Rebic, near side the right. Vasalko with him as well if he wants it. They've lost it though. Challenge though was made by Mandzukic, so Croatia win the ball back again. Modric to Mandzukic. Mandzukic outside the penalty area. A diagonal ball into the box, cleared away by Pavard, the right back. Giroud holds it up towards Pogba. Pogba now comes forward, looks towards Mbappe. Vidic had to go across. Mbappe looks to go on the outside. Mbappe into the penalty area. Subasic with a save. The angle was very tight, but he made himself big and he made the block.
I just wonder.
Oh, hold on. We've got...
What's going on here?
We've got 4 pitch invaders who have come on. 3 are wearing white shirts. Stewards in their luminous jackets have come to tackle them. And in fact, there is a Croatian player, is it Lovren, is remonstrating, and he actually got hold of the pitch invader. There's another one who's now high-fiving Mbappe, but a real serious lapse of security as another one on the far side is being dragged across the playing surface.
What comes through people's heads?
Well, that will be a source of embarrassment for the Russian authorities, and it's a shame.
It is.
It is a real shame because it has been an excellent World Cup.
Brilliant.
But that is a serious lapse in security. How 4, not just 1, 4 pitch invaders can come onto the playing surface like that and actually get so close to the players?
Well, obviously they'll look into it. I wouldn't. There's a substitution coming on, I think, Ian. Nzonzi.
So Steven Nzonzi is going to be coming on for France. They would seem to be dressed as policemen. Well, bearing in mind that some of the grounds, in particular St. Petersburg, it's so tight. Our vehicle in St. Petersburg, we had to get out of the car every time, and it was always checked, seriously checked. But that's a serious play. As the ball comes in, Lloris clapped at that one, and it goes.
No, you'll have to get up, Lloris. You ain't touched it. Get up. Yeah, there's no wrong with it. Get up. Ball comes in, another dangerous ball into offside. No, there's nothing wrong with it.
In fact,
offside it was.
Offside. John Murray thinks they were women. They were dressed as police women. But
they all seem to be dressed the same. I don't know whether they might have been part of the opening ceremony and were close to the pitch that way. I don't know, because they all seem dressed with the white shirts and the outfit.
Kante is the player who's coming off, which, he's started all 7 games, N'Golo Kante, and the ubiquitous midfielder is being replaced by Nzonzi. So would you imagine that, is it a tactical change or is he not fit? Because he normally is someone who we say...
He's had a yellow. He's had a yellow, hasn't it? And he's got to get a grip in that midfield. And all right, he's been running around. He's the one who's trying to get it going. It's not happening, and he's had to change. I was surprised he went off, I'll be honest. But because he's had a yellow, it made a swayed decision for Deschamps.
Here is Griezmann. Griezmann 30 yards out from goal to Matuidi. Vasalko makes the challenge. Griezmann then closes it down from Brozovic. Out of play it goes for a throw. It could be quite unsettling, I would imagine, as a player, though, when you get 4 people come onto the pitch and get so close to the individuals. Going to try and put it now to the back of everybody's mind.
Well, it didn't bother Lovren, did it?
Well, certainly didn't. He was very angry. Anyway, they'll be dealt with. Wouldn't want to be in their shoes at this particular moment in time as Brozovic tries to switch play out to Strinic on that far side. Back to the action. France lead Croatia by 2-1. BBC Radio 5 Live. We're also live across the World Service, the BBC World Service in Africa. As here we are in the Luzhniki Stadium. Rakitic forward of the centre circle. Modric. Vasalko comes forward. Bit of space on the right-hand side. Matuidi is back with, as he did in the second half against England. Threads it through. Rebic waits for the ball to settle. Challenge made by Umtiti. No foul. Griezmann brings it away. Griezmann takes it away now from Lovren. Vida comes across, slides out of play. It goes for a throw. As Zlatko Dalic, the Croatian manager, patrols that technical area, getting ever so more animated as the French tricolours are waving away to our left-hand side. 11 minutes into the second half, it's still 2-1 to France.
Well, you just think along the game goes, Croatia will push on more and more, which will leave space for Griezmann and definitely Mbappe. I always wonder if he's thinking of putting Mbappe down the middle as they start chasing this game, and there's a lot of space, just one ball. We saw England use it very well for the first half with Raheem Sterling getting him behind very easily, so they might look at that and take Giroud off.
Modric tried a forward ball to send Rebic away. It was stopped and intercepted by the chest of Umtiti. Rolled the ball out now to Pavar over on that far side. The right back stops about 10 yards inside the Croatian half under overcast skies as Mbappe comes inside. Well, good challenge made by Brozovic to Mandzukic just outside the centre circle. Don't forget you can listen and watch to our commentary. We're synced with the pitches on BBC television, also through the BBC Sport website, as Lovren to Brozovic, left of the centre circle. Rakitic goes down, challenge made by Giroud. Free kick to Croatia, which Brozovic is going to take unless he leaves it for Modric. No, he'll just roll the ball out to Strinic, the left back. Perisic, who scored a fine equaliser. Croatia looking to come from behind once again. Perisic with the
decent ball on. He's just overhit it slightly, but there's not many teams play with wide men, is it, like Croatia? And it just shows the effect they have if you can get the service to them and they're willing to run and commit full-backs. They found it hard France to deal with.
Well, Dion, Dublin, Croatia are still the better team.
Yeah, they are, and they're using the ball better. They just seem to have a better tempo. All their players seem to be braver. They know they've got very little time now to turn this round, so they've got to go for it. They really have.
Well, Rebic has played the ball out towards Perisic, and Perisic has Pavar backpedaling, and he sends over the cross, but it's over the head of Mandzukic, and it goes out of play. Just for that attack, Mandzukic was on the right-hand side, Rebic has gone central, Perisic still on the left-hand side, but as they look to at that end, there'll be such a source of inspiration to see so many passionate Croats behind that goal away to our right.
Yes, it will be, and attacking your fans, it's always good. But I would say to Perisic, just stay out wide. You've got to beat the Pavar. Every time you've picked the ball up, you've gone basically past him. Just stay out. He's a great out ball for them.
Here is Pogba. Volleys the ball forward, and Mbappe now in a foot chase against Strinic, and Mbappe now gets there first. Right corner of the penalty area. Mbappe into the penalty box. Mbappe, the angle is tight, tries to work over the cross. It might fall to Griezmann. Griezmann with his back to goal. Tees at Pogba, first time shot. Back to Pogba once again, and Pogba drills the ball in. Pogba strikes it left-footed past Umtiti. France now have a 2-goal cushion, and France may be set for World Cup glory as they lead Croatia by 3-1, and Pogba, with his first goal here in Russia, gives France a 3-1 lead.
I've got to say, it's a great finish with his left foot. We don't normally see him kick a lot of the ball with the left foot, but it's a great out ball. Mbappe, that's what he's there for, that out ball, his pace. He can get out the full-back. He didn't fancy it, Strinic, did he? When he got one-on-one with him, he backed off. He thought, I'll hold him up. Vida's getting across to help him. Can he help us? He still comes inside, still drives to the byline, pulls it back. Griezmann does ever so well. Very unselfish. First shot's blocked, but Pogba, left foot, bends it. Keeper actually steps to his left if he goes to strike it. Can't get back across to his right. And it's 3-1, and you would think that is game over.
Trevor, Dion?
Well, I think great credit. Mbappe pace did cause them problem, came inside, then went out, and then it was only half cleared. And to be fair, Griezmann did well to knock it back. The first shot was blocked by Modric, came on his left foot, and I've got to say, he curled one beautifully, very controlled, into the corner, which I wouldn't have seen before from his left foot. So let's give him a great credit. It was a wonderful finish.
Waddler, talk me through that ball, Waddler. What a pass. Is that pass in the tournament?
I know, great ball in the air, fantastic. When you've got somebody like that, can catch pigeons, then keep playing it.
It's a flattering scoreline though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, listen, I think Croatia's played very well, and if people don't watch this game and see the result, they'll go, well, we thought that would happen, France would beat them. No, Croatia's been the best side, and I would hope France after say more or less that. They haven't played well at all today, and they've got a 3-1 advantage. It's unbelievable.
1986 was the last World Cup final when there were 4 goals or more. That was Argentina against West Germany when it finished 3-2. There could be more now. As the cross comes in, Giroud still can't have a shot on target, and as it almost falls towards Griezmann, it was Brozovic who died in to turn the ball behind for a corner kick. And for the first time, Croatia really were unsettled at the back.
Yeah, I think the heads have dropped a bit here, and I've got to say, come off the tempo. Pogba, another glorious ball down the left. Matuidi swings one in, and then it's panic stations. It was a great clearance, because if it hadn't, that was falling at the feet of Mbappe from 6 yards out. They've got to get regrouped again now, Croatia. Go back to what they were doing.
There is still time. 61 minutes on the clock, 5 live. But France now lead by 3-1, and France have a corner kick that Griezmann's going to take. It's an in-swinger, headed away by Brozovic at the near post. Back out towards Griezmann on that far side. In fact, Griezmann will just let it run out of play for a throw.
You can see the body language of Croatia now. They can't believe it. They're 3-1 down the World Cup final, and they don't deserve to be. They'll be thinking of that goal, the pen, the own goal. Not their day, definitely not their day. As I said earlier, these have been the best side.
Conspiring against them with some of the decisions that have been made, as Giroud to Pavard, back to Giroud, headed up in the air by Strinic. Croatia need to clear, hooked away by Vida, little flick, need to try and regroup to Croatia as Rebic will run forward on that far side, the left, and he'll get a throw on that far side. 62 minutes played. BBC Radio 5 Live. Don't forget the Open Golf Championship, the 147th at Carnoustie. All the coverage on 5 Live on Thursday as the live sport continues on a day when Novak Djokovic won his 4th Wimbledon title, 6-2, 6-2, 7-6 against Kevin Anderson. The attendance here inside the Luzhniki is just over 78,000, 78,011. Croatia, a 3-1 down, out towards Perisic. On this right-hand side, level with the penalty area, off his chest, in comes the cross, headed away by Pogba, headed back by Perisic, and it'll be dealt with by Hernandez as Perisic leans into him. Referee says no foul. Hernandez waits for the free kick, has to spring back to his feet. Modric now will come forward, central area of the field. France have almost everybody back behind the ball. I still can't get over the fact that Giroud hasn't had a shot on target throughout the whole campaign. Chris is just nodding his head. Veselko, the right back, just in from the touchline, chipped into the penalty area off his left foot. Pavard covers the right back, headed away to Modric. Modric has Griezmann behind him. Lovren rolls it forward to Mandzukic, side onto goal, tries to use his strength, hold it, can he turn? No, he can't. He'll play it towards Veselko. Had to go a little bit behind him. Now Lovren. It's more or less every outfield player is in the France half, but this suits France now. Yeah, France will just play counter-attack, try and get Mbappe, but Mbappe's doubling up with the full-back at the minute, so he's normally the outball. Here is Rebic, has a sight of goal, shot charged down. Perisic back towards Rebic. If they can work it out towards the left, Strinic was trying to make a run round the back. Pavard, though, will clear off his weaker left foot, and Vido up against the bouncing ball against Giroud. His header is picked up by Matuidi. Mbappe's going to be away if Griezmann can try and play him in. He quickly made up a lot of ground. Griezmann, though, can't. He goes back into the centre circle. And Zonzi, substitute for Kante. Now to Hernandez, the left back, 6 yards inside the Croatia half. Matuidi and Pogba, little touch for Nzonzi, a Sevilla player, formerly of Blackburn and Stoke City, of course, as Hernandez turns. Mandzukic slides in, he gets away from that particular challenge. The left back now picks out Mbappe shoots, and Mbappe scores! Kylian Mbappe, only the second teenager to score in a World Cup final. The last was Pele in 58, but that surely seals it now. France 4, Croatia 1, low right-footed into the bottom left-hand corner.
Well, I've got to say, the goalkeeper to me today, I don't think he's died for one shot, has he, when they've come in? He went the wrong way for Pogba's. The first goal, the own goal, he could have done a lot better, I thought. This time, well, he picks it up. Where does he pick it up? He's got to be 20-25 yards out. It's a great run. The ball comes into him. Nobody closes him down. It does ever so well, Hernandez. He just squares it across, opens himself up. Goalkeeper stood middle of the goal, got position. Again, he goes left. He thinks. He did it with Pogba's. He thinks he's going to bend it to the right. He pulls it back across his body, and it's not got in bottom corner. It's about 2 yards inside the post. Goalkeeper stood watching again.
4-1, France leading Croatia. Trevor, Dion.
Well, the last few minutes, certainly France, since it's gone 3-1, they passed the ball a little bit sharper, quicker. You can see Croatia's heads are dropping a bit, and you began to feel a little bit concerned. We have now, as I say, if you look at quite a long 25 minutes to go, it's 4-1. And it could be the sort of game, where you get another couple. It'd be a great shame because it's not been that sort of final. Croatia have got to keep their nerve and try and get back into this game.
Yes, you got to pull the keeper out there. Wadler's right, but Vida's defending was woeful. He showed him onto his right foot. Why would you do that to a player with that quality? Really poor defending, really poor keeping.
You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. Dion Dublin, Sir Trevor Brooking and Chris Waddle with us here inside the Luzhniki Stadium, where France now have a 3-goal cushion. And in fact, the biggest margin of any victory in a final is 3 goals. France-Brazil in 98, Brazil-Italy, which was 4-1 in 70, and 58 when Brazil beat Sweden. But now Croatia, they've just got to...
But don't lose the discipline.
Exactly.
Either. Just keep the heads, keep playing. Yes, you want to win. It's a World Cup final. You might never. Well, a lot of these players will never get a chance again. So I don't see them coming back here, and I feel sorry for them because they've definitely been the best side until the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
And remember when they made their debut in a World Cup in '98, they lost in the semi-final to France. They've gone one stage better. But once again, it's the French who are going to come out on top. We're midway through the second half. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. France 4, Croatia 1. And to take you through to full time, our correspondent John Murray.
Well, thanks, Ian. It has been an eventful FA Cup final. That's for a World Cup final. That is for sure. With those controversial incidents in the first half. But then France have just gone away from Croatia with those 2 goals. And here they have a free kick. Pogba, one of the goal scorers, takes it into the penalty area where Giroud tries to chest it off to Griezmann, but Croatia clear it out of play to the right-hand side, out of the penalty area. Here's Umtiti halfway inside his own half, who will play it all the way back to goalkeeper Lloris. Oh, Lloris has played it straight into Mandzukic, and Mandzukic has scored. What a terrible mistake by the French goalkeeper, and that gives Croatia a little bit of hope. Mandzukic's goal, it's 4-2.
What is Hugo Lloris thinking there? You're winning 4-1, no risk. Doesn't matter if it goes out the stadium, over the advertising, into the crowd. There's no risk. Just look, it's not on, play it. Put your foot through it, send it. Trying to be clever. Well done, Mandzukic, didn't give up on it. 4-2, game on.
A little bit memories of the goal that Benzema scored in the Champions League final. Goalkeeper, this time Lloris, far too casual, with the ball at his feet. Mandzukic just closed him down as he was passing it out, and it effectively rolled into the net from 7 or 8 yards, Dion.
I don't get that. Umtiti's played the ball back to his keeper, and Umtiti has made an angle for his keeper as if to say, if you're in trouble, give it to me. You're in trouble, and he tries to take it round the centre forward. Listen, you be a keeper and let the players be players.
He actually did that against Sweden in the qualifying. He made a big rick there as well, remember?
That's right.
So they lost 2-1 there, but I don't think they're going to lose this one, but it makes the game very interesting.
However, it's 4-2, and we've now got the same scoreline as 1966. And here's Versalco on the right-hand side. Pavard just allows it to bounced past him and out of play for a throw into France in their own right back position. However, that's not what France wanted, but in any sense of the word.
Well, he's very experienced. Look, he's send it. He's well getting to be blue. He's looking across to the right-hand side. Just play it long. You're winning 4-1. You don't need to take any risk.
And that means Mandzukic has scored at both ends in this World Cup final, and that is his
first.
There's not another one that comes to mind, and that is his third goal at the right end at this World Cup. Here come Croatia on the left-hand side. Cross which has actually gone out as it curled across, the ball going behind the line, so it's a goal kick to France. So it is 4-2. One other little piece of information, as Croatia are going to make a change, and it's Kramaric, the former Leicester striker, the number 9, who's now at Hoffenheim, who is going to come on, and he is going to replace Rebic. Well, Kramaric is certainly versatile, he's adaptable, and they've got to go for it. Croatia, with 20 minutes to play, they are 4-2 down in this dramatic World Cup final, and he's gone straight across Kramaric to speak to Rakitic on the other side of the centre circle, and Zonzi for France heads it forward, and then two Croatian players collide together, so Matuidi and Brozovic has stayed down. Matuidi, and the referee says, yeah, I'm going to stop that because it might be a head injury, although he is now getting to his feet, Brozovic, when the two of them came together. Yeah, the other piece of information, we had the pitch invasion, and there's a flash of lightning as well, so I guess we'll have thunderclaps again in a moment or two here in Moscow. The 4 people who came onto the field, as I mentioned to Ian at the time, I did think that they all were women, and the controversial group Pussy Riot have claimed responsibility for this pitch invasion. Of course, they have a long history of this sort of thing in Russia, but it's certainly embarrassing for Vladimir Putin and Russia for that to happen here on this stage in the World Cup final. And they did appear to be dressed as members of the security services. They had uniforms and hats on, so there'll be more to come on that, no doubt. A stoppage because Mandzukic is down, and we're going to see another French change as well. France are going to make their second substitution, and Corentin Tolisso is going to come on.
Yeah, I would think he'll come on for Tweedy.
Yeah, who was a little bit of a...
Yeah, he was a bit of a risk.
Right, let's get another thought from Sir Trevor Brooking and Dion Dublin, who are just along the commentary box from us.
Well, when it went to 4-1, I thought it could be 5 or 6, and about 3 minutes later, it was like a school playground goal, wasn't it, where you're playing a tennis ball and somebody's trying to take liberties and dribble it out from the goal. I mean, it was just such a amateurish mistake, and Lloris, who's had a good tournament, will not believe what he's done, really, and I still can't think that they will get back into it, but it does mean one goal and suddenly there'll be a few nerves going around the ground.
No, Lloris is a great keeper. He's a very, very good keeper. But his team have just scored. His team have just put them out of sight, and you can't afford to take any risks. If he just does what the Waddler says, just put it into row Z, that's what you do. Regroup, go again. Don't take any risks. Because Mandzukic has closed down 4 or 5 times in this game, and Lloris has got away with it. Not this time.
The score, this is 5 Live. It is France 4, Croatia 2. So France are closing in on a second World Cup triumph, a second World Cup success, but Croatia aren't completely out of it yet. Matuidi is off, the Juventus man, and he's been replaced by the Bayern Munich midfielder, Corentin Tolisso, who's winning his 14th cap in the World Cup final. France in the almost all dark blue kit with the lighter blue shoulders. Croatia with their colours, and the ball played back to Lloris, with Perisic sprinting forward into the penalty area to try and close him down, and he very coolly this time just picks it up, the French captain, and launches one downfield. Lovren heads it away, but straight to Pogba. Pogba scored that well-struck goal with his left foot after his initial right-footed effort was blocked. Here's Griezmann winning a header. Back it comes into the central area to the newly arrived Tolisso. Now here's Giroud, the number 9, but he is dispossessed. And then there's a foul on Brozovic, and it's a free kick to Croatia, 10 yards inside their own half.
You do know that Mbappe will get player of the tournament now.
Will he? Yes. All right. Here comes Versalco down the right-hand side for Croatia. Now to Perisic on the right. Perisic beats Tolisso. Left-footed cross is headed away by Varane. Lloris came, but Varane took charge. And Croatia take possession again in the centre circle with Luka Modric. Big final push here, 15 minutes to go. Croatia now coming down the left-hand side. Strinic's ball across, a falling header away by Umtiti. He's nodded it out of the box to Giroud, and Griezmann and Giroud combine very cleverly on the edge of their area, but Griezmann's given it away. And so Croatia have it again. Rakitic plays it back now out to Vrsaljko here on the right-hand side. Perisic is pulled wide. Vrsaljko is going to hit a shot from 35-40 yards, which bounces wide.
Well, I know he likes Giroud's experience, but I think they're feeling the pace a bit. I'd try and get Dembele on me on the right and put Mbappe down the middle, because Croatia's got to throw everything at. There's gaps down the sides. The fullbacks are playing really high. There's space everywhere. If you've got somebody who can deliver it down the side in Mbappe's pace, surely can finish this game completely.
And Kramaric, Chris, has actually gone over to the left-hand side.
Yeah, they've swapped the two wide men, so Perisic is on this right-hand side.
Do you remember right at the start of this season, you and I, seeing Kramaric have a penalty saved by Simon Mignolet in the Champions League playoff game in Hoffenheim? Here we are, end of the season, and here he is again. France leading Croatia by 4-2. This is BBC Radio 5 Live from Moscow. We're on the BBC Sport app as well. We're across Africa on the BBC World Service, TSN in Canada, and also you can listen via the red button. And there will be a 606 at the conclusion of the World Cup final with Conor McNamara and John Motson, a new combination for the World Cup final 606. So I'll let you know when the lines are open. They may well be now. Here's Modric now running the ball away from his own penalty area, playing it forward. You can get in touch at BBC 606 on social media. You can text 85058 and the lines will actually be open to ring at full time. 4-2 to France. France have scored through an own goal, Mandzukic own goal, Griezmann with a penalty, Pogba and Mbappe. Perisic and Mandzukic have scored the goals for Croatia. And time is ticking. Brilliant scene here. This packed Luzhniki Stadium with over 78,000 people in it, and we're watching Strinic on the left-hand side. Strinic beats Mbappe, then plays the ball back centrally to Rakitic. Rakitic swings a high ball out towards the right-hand side, taken down by Vrsaljko, who was backing away at the time. He's up against Hernandez, ball at his feet, gives it to Modric. Modric dummied to cross, comes inside. Giroud then plays it into the area. It's headed away, and it comes out to the edge of the area. Rakitic with a shot. He's pulled it right across the face of goal and wide.
Wow, great play by Modric. To see how he just let the ball cross. He went to feint across it, just let it cross him onto his left foot, put a ball in. And that actually is a claim for a corner. They've got the goal kick and it was a corner. There was a slight deflection.
We were just talking, you and I, weren't we? Was that yesterday or the day before, about how a certain Trevor Brooking used to let the ball run across him?
Like that, Trevor could do that all day.
Trevor. Memories coming rolling back.
He used to get out into the turnstiles, out on the street, and out the plate to come back in, didn't we?
Yeah, I didn't have the pace, did we? But we could wrong foot them, and so they went the other way, and we took it away from them. I mean, that was it did just clip the. I think it was Nzonzi as the cross sort of went across the face of the goal. So it was a corner, but at the moment, yep, it's 4-2. They're within touching distance if they can get a goal, but just lacking that little bit of zest. They're tiring, aren't they, Croatia?
6 goals in the World Cup final, though. That actually tops off this World Cup, doesn't it, in terms of the excitement, drama, the goals that we've seen. Just the 1-1-0 in 64 1-0-0 in 64 matches as Varane plays it up to Giroud near the halfway line. But Croatia have got a lot of the ball at the moment, so France are going to make another change, and Nabil Fekir of Lyon, who we thought was going to move to Liverpool, he's going to come on, and that will be the 3rd substitution by Didier Deschamps, who is not far away from becoming only the 3rd man to be the... As Croatia played up towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's bounced away to the halfway line. It's bounced to Mbappe. Mbappe is off and running now. He's up against Vida and Lovren. He's running at them. He's running round Vida to the right, but he slips at the crucial moment, and Vida has got possession back. Yes.
There's a buzz there, John, when he picked it up, didn't he? I think the crowd and we did anticipate that he was going to go all the way and get a shot at least on target, but he slips.
Going to see another Croatian change as well, and Piazza, the left winger, is going to come onto the field as well. Here is Vrsaljko, another rumble of thunder above us in Moscow. Vrsaljko on the right hand side. plays it with his left foot back towards Brozovic, and now Kramaric, one of the substitutes, runs the ball out towards the left-hand side. Strinic gets a touch on this. Here's Rakitic, 2 substitutes still waiting to come on. Rakitic running right through the middle with it, but running into congestion. However, Croatia take up possession again. Here's Modric, 30 yards from goal. Modric cuts inside, and Zonzi, he's on his left foot. He slips the ball through. Now it's worked out by Perisic to the right-hand side to Versalco. France, lots of bodies in blue shirts inside their own penalty area. 4-2 France lead. Here's Lovren now, crossing low into the penalty area. Went a long way, but it ran into the path of Umtiti, who was able to strike it downfield. And apparently now we've had 169 goals at this World Cup. Only 2 have had more. France 98 and 2014 with 171. Are we going to get another 3? No. Here comes the first substitution. It's going to be Giroud. I'm afraid his World Cup is going to end. He might be a World Cup winner, but the number 9 for France ending without a single shot on target.
Well, what he'll do is Kiel come to him, park that midfield, play slightly right, and then Mbappe for me will go down the middle.
I mean, he's played a part, hasn't he, Giroud, even though he's not scored. But he'll be disappointed.
Oh, listen, you know what you get from him. He's honest, puts himself about, tries to link the play. There's a lot of good things for the side, that's why he's playing. But just as you say, he's not had a shot on target.
And I don't think he has had an attempt. Has he had an attempt in this game?
No.
Either on target or off target?
No.
So that is the third change for France. Croatia still haven't made theirs. Here's the ball into the penalty area. Well, I've said that they haven't made another change. Yes, they have. Strinic has come off. And as I say, Piazza has come on. The number 20 from Juventus. So here's Kramaric, 25 yards from goal. Kramaric through to Piazza with a touch, but it runs away from him. Right side of the penalty area, the aerial ball, he couldn't get it down, and it's behind for a goal kick.
They're staying there, keeping at it though. You've got to give them credit, haven't they? They've really stuck at it, and we're going into last eight minutes. They've stuck at it. You cannot be questioning their attitude, how they've approached this game. They've been brilliant.
And there'll be lots of discussion after the game because of the way that the first 2 French goals came. Griezmann winning a free kick, which should never have been given as a free kick, and then taking it himself, and it was headed in by Mandzukic for an own goal, and then the controversial penalty given for handball against Perisic on through the video assistant referee, and the debate will be long over whether that should have been a penalty or not. There will be a 606. Get in touch at BBC 606 here on 5 Live. But France 4, Croatia 2, and a free kick out on the left with, well, we're in the 83rd minute now here. Croatia attacking towards all of those supporters in the red and white checked shirts. Oh, they wanted to take a quick free kick, and the referee says no, you've got to bring it. And Rakitic actually falls over theatrically, a little bit like Louis van Gaal on the touchline at Old Trafford on that occasion, in exasperation that the referee didn't allow them to take the quick free kick. So it will be delivered into the edge of the penalty area. 84th minute. A third Croatia goal now. Be interesting. Here's the delivery from Rakitic, but it's right down the throat of Lloris, who catches it securely.
So you're looking for a good delivery, aren't you? Just to ask some questions. Mandzukic goes down.
Players down, so let's bring in Dion Dublin again. Time running out for Croatia. Dion.
Yeah, it seems to be. It's a pity really. They've played with more energy for sort of 70% of this game, but just a little bit of luck and a little bit of quality as well from Mbappe and Pogba. Great finish by both of them. And France I think France will get over the line now, but Croatia shouldn't be too downhearted. They've really given this a go, and yeah, there's only 83 minutes we're on. There's probably about another 10 minutes with extra time as well. With the added minutes. Croatia will still push. They'll still get the ball in the box as much as they can.
The injured players are now okay. They're on their feet, and it's a throw into France on the far side. So France closing in on becoming world champions for the second time. Throw-in is taken, but Croatia back in possession near the halfway line on the day Novak Djokovic won Wimbledon again Last we heard, Eddie Pepperell was winning the Scottish Open Golf. This time next week we'll be bringing you commentary on the final afternoon at Carnoustie in the Open Championship. Listen to that, the build-up all week, and then coverage 5 Live Sports Extra from Thursday morning. But here the World Cup final, Croatia knocking the ball around inside the French half, trying to find that third goal that would reduce the deficit to only 1. Delivery into the penalty area, Varane gets up, stretching, heads it away. Lovren then nods it forward. Rakitic plays it back towards the halfway line to Vida, and now Versalco to the right hand side. Piazza is there, Piazza taking on and beating Hernandez and then playing it behind Versalco, and it's through, rolling agonisingly over the white line for a French goal kick.
I've just looked at the possession, John. 62% Croatia's had, 38 France in the 4-2 up. But again, Didier Deschamps will say, I got it right tactically. And a lot of people will say, well, you should have lost it because Croatia's been a better team. But he'll say, we've scored 4 and they've scored 2.
Croatia consistently punching above their weight in terms of the population, in terms of the youth of the actual country. Only independent from the former Yugoslavia in the early 90s, famously semi-finalists in 98 in France, that eventful semi-final when Lilian Thuram scored the 2 goals, and now here finalists for the first time. But it looks as though that banner said above the Croatian fans before kick-off, if not now, when? Because you never know, you might never have another opportunity, or at least for a very long time.
I don't think a lot of these players will. They're all in others. Mandzukic, Modric 32, Rakitic 30.
Therefore, now's the time. They have to come up with something quite stupendous. Trailing 4-2. Pogba takes this free kick. It's headed away, but it comes back for the French. Mbappe waiting. The shot from the angle. Subasic goes to his right. Fekir with the shot from probably 25 yards given the angle, and Subasic saved it comfortably. When you say, Chris, about Subasic, with the shots that have beaten him today, there was a question over a hamstring injury. I don't know whether
he's went the wrong way, John. He's anticipated before they've kicked it, and it's cost him. Even the first one off Mandzukic, he didn't really make the attempt to go for it. He sort of thought it's gone wide or gone high, and it was in the back of the net.
They haven't given up yet. Certainly this little man won't give up. Luka Modric, who's won his last 10 finals. Of course, Real Madrid, his teammates, Champions League winner 4 times in the last 5 years. Here comes Croatia with a cross from the left-hand side, but far too close to Norris, who's able to get up high and make the catch.
I think that's it now. I think looking at what, 2.5.
You think they're blown out?
Listen, they'll keep going, Croatia. That's the way they are, and they've been a credit to their country today. They've been brilliant. I cannot fault them. They've just been very, very unlucky, really, and that's, you can't say France haven't played well. Let's be honest.
Hugo Lloris clearing it downfield. Hugo Lloris has won only 1 senior trophy in his career, which was the French Cup with Lyon back in 2009. Might be about to become a world champion. So that for him will certainly be worth the wait. Versalco on the right hand side. We are now in the 88th minute. 4-2 to France. Ball on the left hand side. Kramaric gives it back out there towards Vida, who's effectively on the left wing, the central defender. Kramaric pulls it back, plays it centrally. Rakitic is going to have a drive goalwards, but it whizzes away wide and high as well, and hits the advertising hoardings, and he runs his fingers through his blonde hair.
Well, it's worth a strike. Packed defence by France. There's not a lot of room in that box, so why not? He's at 20, 23, 25 yards out. All right, he's not hit the way he wants, but they're a good side. They're a really good side, Croatia. The way they move the ball are very positive. They play with width. They've got players who are very clever on the ball, and they really are. I feel for them today. I think they've given everything. They've been really unlucky.
They have. They've played some very good football, but things have not gone their way. Officialdom has not been kind to them. Here's Nzonzi playing the ball towards the right-hand side, where Fekir has his legs taken away from him. It looked like a free kick, but it's not given. The referee has allowed quite a lot to go, and crucially as well, he was duped really by Griezmann for the free kick that led to the opening goal. Croatia back in possession. We're in the 90th minute. They've got to score 2 goals without reply. 3, maybe 4 minutes of time to be added on. We'll see in a moment. And now it's been brought forward from the back, but it's been lost there, and Pogba is fouled by Brozovic, who just drives the ball away downfield in frustration, and France have a free kick.
Well, I think I'm surprised actually how much they've held their tempers today, because I've seen these really go a lot of their players, but they've stuck at it.
And I think it's beginning to wind down. The fourth official will have his board very shortly. He's just preparing it down there. The Dutchman, Bjorn Kuipers, has got it in his hand, and he's walking forward now. And Croatia, their supporters, it's the Croatian fans you can hear now as they see 5 minutes. Croatia have got 5 minutes to score 2 goals to take this to extra time. But such a big effort that they've put in, remember, having gone to extra time in their 3 previous matches. And so this is asking a lot, as Tolisso is caught there by Versalco, and it's a free kick to France just inside the Croatian half, and France are going to be in no hurry at all. I think it's going to I can't see this Croatian comeback, Chris.
No, I can't. They're getting a bit frustrated. France have played the ball and they're just slowing the game. They're running it right down now. A bit of experience here, but yeah, you feel, as I say, what can you say? They've been very hard done by, and
they're slowing the game down. Hernandez taking an age to take this throw in up towards Griezmann. Croatia get the ball back. Brozovic plays it across. Tolisso just has a little go back at Brozovic, and now Vida bringing it forward. He looks like a warrior, doesn't he? Fearsome looking man. Vida to the halfway line. Oh, and then it's given away so carelessly, and it's given away to Mbappe on the halfway line, and Mbappe will play it out towards the right hand side. Pogba is there, and then Pogba delayed, and that meant that the defenders could come and get a touch, and it runs back towards Subasic.
Oh, wasted opportunity there. Mbappe rolls it into Pogba, and maybe he should have went by himself. He's got the pace.
Modric doing all he can. Little foray forward from him. He claims he was fouled. Free kick not given, so Griezmann's going to take it down the left wing, but I think he might be heading to the corner flag. Oh, and then in slides Versalco and takes out a flying Griezmann, sends him sprawling. Free kick.
Yellow, that one, isn't it?
Free kick to France.
Teammates as well, aren't they?
Griezmann, yep, and Versalco. Griezmann, he's staying a little bit longer as well, isn't he, at Atletico Madrid?
I don't think he's touched him, to be honest. I think he's not touched him at all. He saw it coming and he just hurdles over him. There's no contact. Look, it's nothing. It's called experience, and I'll waste some time.
Absolutely, it's a free kick all day long.
Why don't referees know this one?
That's a yellow card for Versalco. So that's the first yellow card of the final for Croatia, who've been shown more yellow cards than any other team at this World Cup. Free kick, and there's no one in the penalty area for France. Leading 4-2. The referee says, come on, take it. Oh, and Mbappe's found Pogba, and Pogba miskicked 8 yards out. That could have been 5-2.
What a chance that is. What is Croatia doing? I know it's the end of the game and they're a bit tired, but you can't just let somebody run into the box like that. And what an opportunity that was.
Run into the box.
Well, jogged in, but what an opportunity that is. Miskicked completely.
4-2 to France. 2 minutes to play. Griezmann taking on a couple of Croatians on the halfway line, but Vida recovered. Lovren plays it forward. Croatia come again. Piazza waiting on the edge of the penalty area. This attack down the left flank, but challenged by Pavard, the young right back, who's very much played a part in this World Cup. That fantastic goal that he scored against Argentina, remember. Croatia again in possession. Pogba blocks it. It's a free kick that is given Croatia's way for a trip on Rakitic. It's almost over, Chris, this World Cup. This great World Cup that we've enjoyed tremendously.
Chance Pogba missed.
Croatia
have
taken a quick free kick to Perisic, but it's going to be shepherded over the dead ball line for a goal kick, and Lloris won't hurry. So we're in the 4th minute of added time. This World Cup, Chris, we've been all over this part of Russia, haven't we? We've seen the sun set over the Black Sea in Sochi. We were tormented by the flies in Volgograd. We got stuck in a cable car over the Volga in Nizhny Novgorod. Things got a bit Finsky in St. Petersburg. They got a bit jiggly in Samara. And we witnessed England with their big high and their big low here in Moscow. It's been great fun, hasn't it?
Well, it's Actually, really enjoyed it. Great World Cup.
And a final which has a scoreline of 4-2. Absolutely agonising for Croatia as the ball is whacked away by Varane out of play. They won't take this lying down, Croatia. If half the things I've heard from Adrian Chiles are to be believed over the course of the last couple of days, he will be very downcast, as will the whole of Croatia. Ball in from the left-hand side, but Lloris comes and catches it, and I think there are only seconds left. Lloris climbs to his feet.
Well, you know, in about 5 seconds, John, by the time he kicks us up the field, I'm sure the referee will blow.
And there is the final whistle. It's Vive la France in Moscow, and on come the French substitutes, and they are hugging one another. There are fevered celebrations in the centre circle. Celebrations too for Didier Deschamps, the coach of France. Only the third man after Mario Zagallo and Franz Beckenbauer to win the World Cup as a player and coach. They used to call him the water carrier. Well, the water carrier can get out the champagne now, and he punches the air. And France have done it. They've won the World Cup for the second time. And Croatia, they will be so unhappy about the way that their first World Cup final unfolded and the way that decisions and things conspired against them. But the French, well, they can put another star above the cockerel on the shirt.
Well, I've got to say congratulations to France. They've managed this tournament very, very well. I don't think they've been the best team to watch, but they know how to win football matches. I think they've rode the luck today, to be honest. Croatia, for me, better side. You know, when you watch this game again, if you ever do, Croatia should have won this game, but they haven't. Well done, France, but I do feel for Croatia. They would say they've been hardly done by, but they've conceded 4 goals today, and what a good game. I do feel for them.
Chris Waddle, thank you very much for your company around Russia over the past few weeks. There's more to come from Sir Trevor Brooking and Dion Dublin as well. For the record, France winning it with goals from a Mandzukic own goal, Griezmann with a penalty, Pogba and the 19-year-old Mbappe, Perisic and Mandzukic scored for Croatia. But it is France again. We've talked for so long about how it was coming home. Well, if you remember, it was the idea of the World Cup of Jules Rimet. So it is coming home. France, champion du monde. France 4, Croatia 2.
And there'll be more coming from everybody, because this World Cup won't be presented for about 20 minutes as we have all sorts of awards to go through. So John Murray, don't put your microphone down, or Ian Dennis. Chris Waddle, just to you. Obviously France started celebrating immediately in little huddles. Olivier Giroud ran off the bench towards the French fans away to our left. I was watching the Croatian players, 2 or 3 sank to their knees, and Mandzukic went round everyone. He went round everyone, he got them up, he told them not to go on their knees, he gave Modric a hug, and he got them in a huddle, which I thought, for somebody who isn't the captain, actually was very, very good leadership.
Yeah, they've obviously said, look, sitting down, don't feel sorry for yourself, we'll give everything. And that's all you can ask of a team. That Croatian team today has been a credit to their country. They've been absolutely excellent. They've tried everything possible to win this game. They've been creative, they've had shots, they've had crosses, they've been punished. And then people say they've got 2 bad decisions against them. The Griezmann free kick, the penalty kick. But, you know, at the end of the day, they've conceded goals which were sloppy goals. But as a team playing, they've been excellent. You can't fault them, and they deserve. Their fans are still in here, rightly so. They've seen a team put an unbelievable amount of effort in today with no rewards.
According to my monitor in front of me, Antoine Griezmann's name has just got a little gold star next to it, so that means that Antoine Griezmann has been given man of the match for this World Cup final, which might mean he gets man of the tournament as well. It's probably between him and Mbappe. And whilst you can praise Croatia, and I know Chris says you can't fault them, Dion, where you could fault them was defensively, how they defended the free kick for the first goal, and the goalkeeper didn't have a great game, if you were going to be honest.
Yeah, we're nitpicking, we're trying to find things that Croatia didn't do well. Very little, but they didn't do well. Yeah, the keeper on both occasions sort of stepped to his left, expecting it to go to his left shoulder. It didn't, it went to his right on both occasions, Mbappe and Pogba. But they've done well. They can walk out of this tournament with their heads held high. They are standing to my right, as you look out the dugouts to the right on the 18-yard line, exactly in the same sort of position England were, appreciating their fans, spending the money, travelling all over Russia to support them. Another team that have done no harm to their reputation at all. They're a good footballing side.
John Murray is reminiscent of the other night when we were here in the Luzhniki and the England team in front of their adoring fans away to our right, and the Croatian fans reacted to their players as the England fans reacted to theirs, with respect and admiration and adoration, actually, for a tournament that maybe they weren't expecting.
Yeah, coming into this World Cup ranked at 20th in the world, and with, well, at best, a dark horse hope, but they've really impressed, haven't they? Some of their victories, the 3-0 win against Argentina, I think the way they went about their wins in the knockout stages as well, and the nerve that they showed, and remember what a big part Subasic played in that. And as we mentioned during the commentary, I have half a feeling that Subasic probably wasn't fully fit, but it just wasn't enough. They've come up short against very probably the best team, the best squad of this World Cup.
And overall, Chris, not looking at the final where Croatia were the better team, I'm just looking at the stats. France had 39% of possession, Croatia 61%. Croatia had 15 shots, 3 of them on target. France 8 shots, 6 on target. But you look at France as a whole in this tournament, the performance against Argentina, how they went through by knocking out Argentina and Uruguay and Belgium, you can't say it's not deserved.
No, I think the big Belgium was massive. The Uruguay, difficult opposition. They've come through it. Look, they're going to look at it and say, look, we're winners, we've won it. We are world champions now, and that's what they came here to do. Now, whether there's been pretty or exhilarating like Belgium have been, or like Brazil were, no, they haven't. They've managed each game, what they've come up against. They've tried to nullify the strengths of the opposition and find a way to win a game. And you've got to say his game plans have been great without being entertaining, some of them. You've got to say he's won the World Cup, and that's what he came here to do.
They're in a big group at the moment, are the French players and coaching staff. They're waving to friends and family. Samuel Umtiti actually ran down the tunnel at great pace 2 or 3 minutes ago. I thought he must need the toilet, but he's come out with his phone, which kind of sums up where we are. He needs to capture it all for his Instagram and his Twitter and for his personal videos as well, I would have thought. So Trevor Brooking, there are as many goals scored in this final as the previous 4 combined. It sort of feels, with the controversy, with the goals, that we maybe got the final that the tournament deserved, really, because it had us on the edge of our seats for the majority of it.
Well, we couldn't predict a lot of the outcomes, some of the big teams going out early, and that's been the beauty, I think, of the tournament. I think even today, look, you got to give credit in the end to France. You know, they've ended up as winners, and the third and fourth goals were great goals. You know, I mean, they broke on the right, Pogba slotted it in, and then Mbappe got the fourth. And I thought then it was going to be 5 or 6 until we got the soft goal with Lloris. But for me, the big one for them as well was the semi. I thought Belgium, arguably, for me, I thought they could end up winning it. And for them to beat Belgium in the semi-final was a big, big win. So if you look at everything over the tournament, whoever wins it has deserved it. We'll debate the controversy. Would Croatia have been able to hold on if they hadn't, conceded the debatable goals? Who knows? But, they've done great credit as well to their country. It's a shame that from a World Cup point of view, because it's a 4-year cycle, I mean, the Euros, that group could still stay together, but 4 years probably for a World Cup, that was Croatia's moment. They've got a fantastic, amount of fans here, and they've done them credit. And, it's been a great, great tournament that possibly we weren't all expecting, and lots of positives. England have come away more optimistic going forward, experienced, but also we've seen with the clinical players, France just now, Croatia, and certainly Belgium, we have still a step to go before we can compete and play in finals of big tournaments. But the next, few tournaments, I think for England, this is where we've got to aspire, because there's no greater feeling, as you can see, for the winning players who are now sharing it with their fans.
The award ceremony yet to begin here in the Luzhniki Stadium. Partly, it would appear, because they've designed one of the most complicated stages they could have wished to have come up with, in a sort of teardrop shape that seems to have had about 50-55 different parts that have needed to be assembled. Dion, it felt like a final that had, as I said to Trevor, that the tournament deserved, really. This tournament didn't deserve a 1-0 shut up shop, let's all go home.
No, I wasn't expecting it. I think, you know, we've got our own little WhatsApp page, and everybody puts their scores on the WhatsApp page, and nobody went for a 0-0 or a 1-1 or a low scoring result. Always going to be goals. On paper, France, yes, without a doubt. But Croatia always going to give them a good game. 70% of the game was Croatia, but France just took their chances when they could, and two of their outstanding stars, Pogba and Mbappe, put the icing on the cake.
What did you say? Nobody on the WhatsApp group went for what? 0-0 or 1-0?
0-0.
John Murray, what did you go for?
Yeah, I did go for 1-1, but I'm in a situation where I was chasing the game. I had to go for a different scoreline.
You have to go big.
He's trying to get in the Champions League spot.
I was trying to
Europa League for John.
I was trying to nick third, but I think I've fallen short.
You have.
All of his scores throughout the last probably 7 to 10 days have been tactical. The type of guy that he is.
Didier Murray, this is, by the way.
This is the Five Live Sport Prediction League that has been going on, and the Five Live Sport team have managed to turn the World Cup final back to it being about themselves. At the moment, Umtiti is running around the Luzhniki Stadium with a tricolour alongside Adil Rami, and of course Adil Rami has been the good luck charm for this French team, John Murray, just like in 1998 with Laurent Blanc kissing Zinedine Zidane on the head. Adil Rami's had his moustache twirled by the squad before they've got out for every game.
I'm pleased you saw that, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was rather Hercule Poirot, wasn't it? But here, the scene we've got here is the French players have how many of them? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They've grabbed tricolours from the crowd, and they are twirling them around the pitch. They're running all over the pitch. It's like the Cirque du Soleil comes to Moscow.
But they stopped. They stopped when they got to the end that the Croatian fans were at. They stopped twirling their flags, and they stopped and applauded the Croatian fans, and the Croatian fans have applauded the French players back.
Did you see what Olivier Giroud did? Olivier Giroud did the sign where he said, "We are not worthy." Nice touch.
Yeah, well, he gets applauded off Croatian fans. He gets booed by the French.
No, he doesn't. He's played an important part for them in this World Cup, hasn't he? Hasn't he?
French. I think he has, but they don't think he has. The French always boo him, I'm telling you.
Well, they're not going to boo him today, are they?
No, not today. But you never know.
Go on, Trevor, bring some reason to this.
No, the other one I think sitting here is worth a mention, because we criticise him quite a lot back home, is Pogba. I thought he wasn't charging around and like we see him sometimes at home frustrating people. He actually was asked to do a role in the team, and I thought he did it exceptionally well. Discipline. If he was tracking back, he did his defensive work, and then he got a great goal with his left foot today. So, you know, it's not the "this is me here" sort of type of player you see back home. This was a part of this team, and he actually contributed quite significantly.
The ball he hit for Mbappe was a fantastic ball deal. You sort of did a cut across it sign to me as he played that into Mbappe's path. Yeah,
he didn't play it to Mbappe. He played it into an area that he knew he could get to, and he just put a little bit of what I would like to call a little bit of a genuade, a little bit of fade into that space. Mbappe got onto it. You know, it was just amazing. It just led to the goal. But these are nice scenes, chappers. These are nice scenes.
They are.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
The French have formed a guard of honour for the Croatian team to walk through before they come onto our stage, which has just finished being built. Sort of a purple and gold colour. And so the French team have formed this Guard of Honour, and Didier Deschamps at the moment, Ian Dennis, is going round every single member of that Croatian team and backroom staff and shaking their hand, and there was a warm embrace between himself and Luka Modric as well. And Didier Deschamps' achievement in this, and becoming only the third man to win the World Cup as a player and as a manager, should not be forgotten.
No, it shouldn't. He joins Zagallo and Beckenbauer for Brazil and Germany. 12th of July 1998, he lifted it as a captain. 15th of July 2018, he joins that small and elite band. He was appointed 6 years ago. We talked about his future beforehand, because I think had they not won, especially after the way that they played, the spectre of Zinedine Zidane would have loomed rather large. But he's got a deal till 2020, and it makes up, of course, for the disappointment of 2 years ago when they lost the Euros as the host nation to Portugal.
Yeah, and I know it's all ifs and buts, but they could very well be European and world champions at the moment. That's how close it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right. They got it wrong against Portugal. They underestimated them slightly. But again, today, I thought they played better against Portugal than they did today. Honestly, I thought they dominated the game against Portugal, and they got punished. Today, they've rode the luck a lot, to be honest.
The thing is, though, with France, this is their third appearance in a World Cup final since '98, more than any other team over the last 20 years. More than Brazil, more than Germany, who've only had 2 appearances each.
The lines are open for 606 08085 909 693 08085 909 693. This Guard of Honour could take some time, actually, John Murray, because we've got several awards to be presented before Croatia even go up to receive their runners-up medals, haven't we?
Yes, we've got a string of awards. There's the Young Player Award. I think we'll know who'll get that. The Golden Boot, although I presume Harry Kane has gone home. I don't know. We'll find out. The Golden Glove, the Golden Ball for the best player of the tournament. Then we'll have the medals for the officials, then the runners-up, and then the winning team.
I just spoke to Harry Kane yesterday. Oh, he's gone quiet all of a sudden. What an achievement for him. First, he's only the second Englishman to get the Golden Boot. The first was Gary Lineker in '86. And although he said that, it's about the team, that is still some achievement for Harry Kane. 6 goals in the tournament. First Englishman in 32 years.
You haven't seen any indication, Ian, have you, if he is going to come and collect it in person?
I don't know. England, I think, landed back at Birmingham Airport this afternoon. I wasn't aware whether Harry was... I didn't ask him that. It was only a short interview, but I didn't ask him whether he was staying out, so I wasn't too sure whether he's landed back or not.
We'll find out shortly, won't you? Mind you, if you would think if he could, he would, wouldn't he?
Well, the only other person who scored a hat-trick in a World Cup final, bearing in mind he was 3 ahead of Griezmann and Mbappe, was Jeff Hurst, of course, in '66. So there was always going to be a good chance that Harry Kane was actually going to win the Golden Boot once Lukaku was hauled off yesterday, unable to add to his tally of 4.
But I suppose at the same time, Dion, you might want to go home with the rest of your squad and teammates as well, mightn't you?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's just down to the individual. I personally would want to have stayed and just finished off the tournament on a high, really. It's a huge achievement. Golden Boot at the World Cup, it's just magnificent.
He is
deserved as well.
Back in England. He's
back in England, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a pity. Maybe he just wanted to get home to his family, which is fair play, but what an achievement anyway. It'll be on his mantelpiece with the rest of his trophies.
So Trevor, let's look at the tournament as a whole. You watched a lot of it back home. You came out to join us. When you arrived here, given what you'd heard about what we've been saying about Russia and watched about Russia, did you find it how you were going to expect it? Has it surprised you?
I think more than anything, when I suppose when I was coming out, I wasn't expecting to come out and watch England in the semi-final, so that was great. And I don't mind surprises like that. But up until that, the big thing, when the tournament was going to start, I wasn't expecting the surprises, the shocks you couldn't actually predict any game that we were going to watch. You saw Germany survive with a late free kick, and then they go out to Korea. I mean, you just couldn't have written the script. If I'd watched a film like it, I'd have said, well, it's a bit far-fetched. I mean, it's quite enjoyable, but it has been that sort of tournament. And then, of course, everyone said, it's what about the crowds and the atmosphere. But everyone, and then when I've come here, it's a very relaxed. And everyone has enjoyed being in Russia, and so that's a major plus. And so the actual tournament is a massive, massive success. For FIFA must be chuckling, because there was all this doom and gloom and why has it gone there, but it's turned out to be terrific, very dramatic. Certainly in the few days that I've been here, it has been a spectacle, and it's going to be one of those. If you're a young English player now, having sampled it, and even one who hasn't quite got in the squad yet, you want to be part of it now moving forward, and that's a great plus for me. The World Cup, which is and football itself has had its problems over recent years, but we've suddenly had a tournament that everyone's talking about, and that's great.
I spoke to a Russian in St. Petersburg who thought that Russia for this World Cup was a little bit like a Potemkin village, a facade to try and deceive things that it was actually better than it is. But what you cannot deceive is the warmth of the Russian people. That is genuine. And I've encountered that in St. Petersburg, Nizhny Novgorod, Kazan, wherever I've travelled in Russia, I have felt the genuine warmth from the Russian people, and that you cannot hide from.
Sounds like Rachel Burden wasn't the only one reading Anna Karenina on their tours round Russia.
But all right then, John Murray, I don't know, in a couple of years' time, you're in your rocking chair looking back at your career. What would, and all those happy...
a couple of years?
Yeah,
Johnny's retiring.
It's a running theme. It's a tiresome running theme.
What would you say your best memories of this tournament are? I think sooner or later this presentation might start, but
well, it's not looking imminent.
No,
I must say. Best memories. Well, to be honest, I mean, seeing England do the unexpected was quite a memory. Seeing England win a penalty shootout, crikey, that was something to remember. But also, I mean, some of the goals that we've seen, Chris, in the games that we've watched, been fantastic. I mean, we've seen Mbappe, Ronaldo and Messi score live in the stadium at the World Cup. I mean, that's something to remember, isn't it? And some of the games as well. That Argentina experience, some of the supporters, as we keep saying, supporters coming from South America, and 40 or 50,000 of them in stadiums like St. Petersburg. Amazing.
I mean, it's been a great tournament, really well organised. People have been great everywhere we've been. It's been fantastic. You kind of everything we've done has been great. I can't really pick faults. As for football, I'd probably say it was not the greatest tournament I've seen. I think there's been some good matches, classic matches, a couple, 2 or 3. That was a good game today. I think there's about 5 or 6 games which I'll remember. There's a lot I'll not remember. So I'm not sure it's the greatest level of football we've ever seen on a World Cup level, but the organisation and everything what went with it's made up for that.
Feels like though we have had a lot of memorable games. We had only one goalless game, of course. But if you look, France beating Argentina, Croatia beating Argentina in the group stages.
Yeah, and Spain beating 3-3 with Portugal.
Spain and Portugal 3-3.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Belgium, Brazil, Belgium, Japan.
Belgium, Belgium were great in every game.
Also, obviously with Croatia having 3 extra times, they thought it was going into extra time today because they weren't ready actually to make the presentation after 90 minutes.
That's some very good points, Trevor. At the moment, down below us, the stage is built. The guard of honour, fair play to France, they've kept their guard of honour there for a good while. The Croatian players are in a huddle. The photographers are all in place. There are a lot of people in suits just standing around waiting for something to happen. Ian?
Do you know what else as well? Nobody inside the stadium has moved. You think of an FA Cup final, right? At one end, the losing team will just quickly disperse. The Croatian supporters, to their credit, have stayed. There isn't a single soul, I don't think, has left this stadium. And bearing in mind the attendance is 78,011, everybody is patiently waiting for this ceremony.
What are your memories, Dion?
Well, in regards to games, I did like the first game, I've got to say.
Yes.
Russia versus Saudi Arabia, 5-0 to
and
Russia.
How did that change the mood of everything?
Yeah, and from that moment on, it just gave it that little bit of momentum to say, wow, this is going to be a different World Cup. And for me, that stands out, that game. I was lucky to do, I've done Uruguay, Portugal, I think it was as well, which was an amazing game. And I've been all over, like all of us, we've been everywhere. Sochi, Samara, Ekaterinburg, with that amazing stadium with the two temporary stands behind the goal at each end. When you get to the top of that stand, you can see the top of the stadium. So the experiences that I'll take away from this are amazing. And as a black Englishman, thinking I'm going to come to Russia and thinking, I'm not going to like it, there's going to be racism. I've had nothing whatsoever. The Russian people have been amazing, welcoming, warm, just like the Waddler says, and they've been amazing to everybody that's been part of the BBC team, from what I know.
It has been a very multinational tournament, hasn't it, Ian? As we've spoken about a lot, 50,000 Peruvians have been here. Thousands of Mexicans, Colombians, Argentines, Brazilians, Croats. And Trevor pointed out when he came out here as well, families. And you mentioned your story earlier with the Brazilian family of 6 that you travelled with.
Well, I didn't travel with them. I wasn't going on holiday with the Brazilians, although I wouldn't mind staying out here till the 3rd of August if they're going to pay for it. But to be honest with you, it's the people for me who've made it. There was, I'm just conscious because I think the World Cup's in the tunnel. But it's the people who've made it. I once shared a vodka with a guy called Yevgeny in Nizhny Novgorod, and then I made a conversation with a woman on a bus in St. Petersburg just about a tab of a bus ticket, because there's a lucky sequence you can get on a bus ticket. And when I realised that, which is a Russian thing, she then started speaking to me in pidgin English, and I spoke back to her in my basic Russian. And it's the little things like that that have made the tournament.
The World Cup, as Ian says, is being brought out at the moment here at the Luzhniki Stadium, and the excitement that has just gone through that French squad as they saw the gleaming gold trophy being brought out and put on the plinth, and the plinth is only 10 yards away from that French squad, and Philippe Lahm has just given them a knowing nod. He's brought the trophy out, the former German captain. He's given the French players a thumbs up, and he's gone to hug a few of them. He's hugged Paul Pogba, he's shaken Didier Deschamps' hand, and we are sort of ready for this presentation. The French players are already taking photos of this World Cup that they are about to lift, and it's appeared on the big screen as well, John Murray, which is why the cheers are going around the stadium.
Cheers as well, because Vladimir Putin has walked out of the tunnel, and Emmanuel Macron is going up there as well, and so is the Croatian president too, Kolinda Grabar-Kitarovic, who is wearing her red and white Croatia shirt and white trousers, and with her long blonde hair she stands on the stage now and puts her arms in the air, and she's hand in hand with Emmanuel Macron of France. Of course, it is all the rage of politicians to go hand in hand, and they take their place alongside Vladimir Putin and Gianni Infantino as well, the FIFA president, who will be part of the presentation party.
Now, this is how we understand it. Whether that changes, lightning strikes above the stadium. They are now about to announce various awards, individual awards. The first one, the FIFA Young Player Award. Kylian Mbappe, he's taken the silver ball trophy, and he's had a hug as well of the Croatian president. So you can't argue with that, Dion, can you, as the young player of the tournament?
No, not at all. Rightly so, he's got a great future. We're just seeing little flashes of what he can do, and I would imagine he's got a lot more to come as well. If he keeps his head down, listens to the right seniors, he's got a massive, massive future ahead of him.
He's been given a silver trophy. It's a silver ball on a plinth, and this 19-year-old, who wasn't even born last time France won the World Cup, raises it high, and now a huge ovation, a big Croatian ovation, because it is Luka Modric who has been called Golden Ball winner, the best player at this World Cup.
Rightly so as well. That's good, because it's been very easy for them to give it to a French player, but he has been outstanding. 32 years of age, he should reverse them numbers. He plays like a 23-year-old. Covered the most ground in the tournament. Absolute credit to his country.
And he's just been congratulated by Davor Šuker, who is on the podium as the head of the Croatian Federation, the former, well, he was a Golden Boot winner himself, Davor Šuker, and a brilliant noise as he stands on the top tier of the podium while the photographs are taken.
And he looks absolutely devastated, which you can understand, Sir. It must be very hard, actually, to pick up the individual award when your team has lost the final. And they're just announcing the Golden Boot winner as Harry Kane to the stadium. And obviously, as we've told you, Harry is not here. So, but I feel a little bit for Luka Modric there, Trevor, because it's probably the last thing he wanted to do.
Yeah, I'm chuffed he won it, because you tend to think they go with a winning team member, but Modric has been absolutely outstanding and thoroughly deserves it. And it's great to see him lift that. As you say, his mixed emotions really standing there. He's pleased to have won it, but he'd have liked to have been receiving the trophy.
Thibaut Courtois has just been announced as the Golden Glove winner for the best goalkeeper at the tournament. It was probably actually between him, Lloris and Subasic, you would say, until this final, when both Lloris and Subasic didn't have the best of afternoons.
Well, it was quite easy for the judge at the end to say Courtois won it. I think, he had played very well, as did the Belgian team. They must have thought they were going to be here tonight. But well done, Courtois. Belgium have been excellent.
Do you have some regret that Belgium weren't in the final, given the football that they've played in this tournament?
If they'd played Croatia, it would have went out. It would have been. We've still 6 goals in 8. It would have been a lot more than that, I think. What a game that would have been.
The whistles you could hear in the background around the stadium are obviously because the officials have gone up to collect their medals from the dignitaries who are on the stage. The whistles most definitely coming from the Croatian fans away to our right. And very shortly now, John Murray, we should be ready for the presentation. And that guard of honour that the French players formed some 15-20 minutes ago, and it did get a little bit muddled, has now reformed. And there is as the rain starts to fall, there is a tunnel there for the Croatian players to go through. Luka Modric will lead his team to pick up their runners-up medals. Whilst they do, Chris Waddle, do you think we saw Brazil go early, we saw Argentina go early, we saw Spain go early, Germany as well? Do you think there's a levelling off in world football now, or do you just think it's a cyclical stage for those countries?
I think it's I do. I think it's just a stage. As I say, I've enjoyed a lot of these games at the World Cup. There's been a lot where 2 ordinary teams, no ambition. It's easy to organise defensively, and I think we've saw a lot of teams do that. It's not really kicked on till you get to quarter-finals. I know you get the odd group game where you think this is what a result, but I've got to say, the latter stages have been some great games.
Look what's happened. Because it's now absolutely lashing down, and there's no roof on the podium. All of the dignitaries are up there. None other than Vladimir Putin is actually hanging the medals around the necks of the players, and from somewhere someone has come up with a black umbrella to hold it over the head of Vladimir Putin.
It's been a terrible tournament.
Not over the head of Infantino, not over the head of either the French or the Croatian president, but just Vladimir Putin is dry as everybody else gets soaked.
We said it was great, well organised. Take that back now.
It is very, very heavy rain here. The French Guard of Honour has now just dissolved somewhat, and they've gone back into a little huddle as the final few Croatian players take their runners-up medals, and they get hugs off both presidents as well, both the French president and the Croatian president. The last player up to get his medal is Rakitic. Subasic is just in front of him, wrapped in a Croatian flag, but Rakitic has got his medal. And also Zlatko Dalic, the Croatian coach, in his white shirt, which has now become see-through. Very similar to if you saw the pictures of Rafael Nadal at Wimbledon, drenched in sweat after just 3 games. Well, Zlatko Dalic's shirt has just gone very Rafael Nadal. Why is there schoolboy giggling over that side of the stadium?
You couldn't write the script, could you, really?
On occasions like
it's
this.
so heavy. Everyone's drenched, and with great...
How much hair you have.
Survive.
How much hair you have is quite significant. And Noël Le Graët, who is the president of the French Football Federation, has got what they used to call a comb-over. And it's not doing terribly well in the torrential thunder shower.
Let's move from
more umbrellas. They've got more umbrellas.
They've got more umbrellas. The comb-over's safe. The comb-over is safe. Let's move swiftly on to the lifting of the 2018 World Cup by France with John Murray.
Well, it's almost a comical scene, this, because the rain is torrential, and as we know, it can rain in Moscow. We have endured some extremely heavy showers over the course of the time that we've been here. It was forecast. The sky above the Luzhniki Stadium is black. We can see the rain tumbling down. It's a torrent of rain that is falling through the open roof of the Luzhniki Stadium, and under the umbrellas, the French players, of course, they're not bothered about this at all. They've just put in 90 minutes of blood, sweat and tears and the rest of it. So the people who are least affected are the players, while the dignitaries, the only person who's even slightly dry down there is Vladimir Putin, and Paul Pogba is actually just gathered around the World Cup on the podium and is shining it, and he can't wait to get his hands on it. And so the players are now all being presented with their gold medals. Vladimir Putin continues to hang them round the necks of the French players. If you've just switched on to us on 5 Live, this is the aftermath. This is the presentation of the trophy and the medals after the 2018 World Cup final, which was won by 4-2 by France. A number of decisions went the way of the French, certainly in the first half. There'll be much talk about that afterwards. But France really took it away from Croatia with the goals that were scored by Paul Pogba and Kylian Mbappe, and they have both... Kylian Mbappe has been named as the young player of this World Cup. The Croatian players, I noticed just down to my right, are all gathering together for a photo in front of their supporters, which of course will be so important for them. So this photo being taken with their backs to the fans, and 2 tiers of Croatian fans in red and white checked shirts behind them. That'll be brilliant for the front pages of the Croatian newspapers and websites over the course of the next couple of days. But the last remaining French players are now in the line and being hugged by Mr. and Mrs. Macron, the French president, and his wife. Griezmann is the last player to go through, and Didier Deschamps is there. He's now got the World Cup on his CV as a winning captain and a coach. And the final man in the line, Hugo Lloris, who certainly didn't cover himself in glory with the second goal that was scored by Croatia here in the final, when he was far too casual, but he is a World Cup winning captain, and he stands slightly awkwardly next to Vladimir Putin, who has shaken his hand, and Emmanuel Macron now speaking at length with Didier Deschamps. He's got his hand around the back of his neck. He's speaking at some length, and now puts his hand on his cheek, and then he sees Hugo Lloris to his right, and the two of them embrace, this young president of France and the captain of the men's national football team. And what he will do is move along the line of the dignitaries and under their umbrellas and receive the congratulations of them all, and then he's going to take his position on the other side of the stage where all of the players are waiting. And I see that Gianni Infantino, the president, has already plucked the World Cup from its plinth, this 36.8 centimetre tall trophy, which is made of 18 karat gold, is being carried across by the FIFA president Gianni Infantino, who's now making his way into the middle of all of those French players and trying to find a way through the crowd, which he has now done, and he hands it to Hugo Lloris. France winners of the World Cup in Paris in '98 and winners of the World Cup here in Moscow in 2018. Pour l'éternité. It is a win for the ages for France. And up goes the golden ticker tape, smoke as well filling the air, and the French players celebrate in front of the stage with the World Cup in their hands. Great World Cup, such memories, a wonderful tournament, and it's been won by the French.
And with gold ticker tape everywhere and everybody soaked, most people are walking off with gold tape stuck to their heads, their bodies, their legs. Benjamin Mendy has just gone sliding 15 yards across the turf with the World Cup in his hands, and it is going to be a long, long night of partying for this French team and their supporters, and still the Croatian fans stay in their seats away to our right. They aren't going anywhere. They're applauding the French team as well. France, the 2018 World Cup champions. More reaction from here, more reaction from Wimbledon as well, where Novak Djokovic has won the men's singles this afternoon for the fourth time. But at 8:33 here in Russia, 6:33 in the UK. Let's just pause for some news.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet, this is BBC 5 Live.
With the BBC News on 5 Live, I'm Rob Watts. France have won the World Cup for a second time. They beat Croatia 4-2 with goals from Antoine Griezmann, Paul Pogba and Kylian Mbappe, plus an own goal by Mario Mandzukic. Harry Kane has won the tournament's Golden Boot, the first Englishman to do so since Gary Lineker in 1986. President Trump has left Scotland on board Air Force One. His next stop is Helsinki in Finland, where he'll meet with Russia's President Putin tomorrow. A government ministerial aide has resigned over Theresa May's Brexit plans. Robert Courts, who replaced David Cameron as MP for Witney and West Oxfordshire, says he couldn't claim to his constituents that he supports the proposals in their current form. And a family of 4 and their dog have been rescued after being cut off by the tide on a beach at Brean Down in Somerset. Their car wasn't so lucky, it was left to be swallowed up by the sea.
5 Live Sports.
The World Cup final. France against Croatia with Mark Chapman.
Where French players continue to slide across their turf through gold ticker tape. They have the trophy in front of one of the boards that says champions, and they are now jumping up and down and celebrating. More reaction from here. Before 6:06 with Conor McNamara and Motti. 08085 909 693. The lines are open now. But let's get more reaction from Wimbledon, where Novak Djokovic won the men's title earlier. Here's Ellie.
Yes, Mark, what a contrast really with the scene in front of you in the Luzhniki Stadium with the pouring rain and the gold ticker tape stuck to everybody and sliding across a sodden pitch. It's been the most beautiful evening here at Wimbledon. And when we saw the presentation of another gold trophy a bit earlier on, it was done with perfect, civilised choreography. The Duke of Kent, the president of the All England Club, and Novak Djokovic being crowned champion for a 4th time. We'll reflect on that in a moment, but David Law sitting alongside me in the commentary box as he was for that men's final. We're watching Jamie Murray and Victoria Azarenka in the mixed doubles, and it's looking as if they could be going out.
Yeah, they're going to come up short, it would appear, because they've lost the first set on a tiebreak to Alexander Payer and Nicole Milichar. It's 4-2 to their opponents as well in the second set. Jamie Murray won this mixed doubles title a year ago with Martina Hingis, but looks as though he and Victoria Azarenka will come up just short.
If they are going to pull it out of the bag, you can hear it right now on 5 Live Sports Extra and watch it on BBC TV as well, which I think is Barry Davis's final ever commentary from Wimbledon. So you've just got a chance to catch possibly only 1 or 2 more games of this. But let's reflect then on Novak Djokovic, very much back in business after winning his 4th Wimbledon title.
I couldn't pick the better place, to be honest, in the tennis world to peak and to make a comeback. Wimbledon has been always a very special tournament to me and to many players, obviously. I dreamed of winning it when I was a 7-year-old boy. I made a lot of improvised Wimbledon trophies from different materials, and I really always dreamed of winning Wimbledon. And when that happened back in 2011, and when I became number 1 of the world in just a couple of days, all my dreams came true. So it's really hard to compare this year's trophy and victory with any other of the other 3, because they're all special. But if I can pick one, that would be probably the first one. And this year's winning because my son was at the trophy ceremony, which made it extra special.
Yeah, it was very sweet seeing him with 5-year-old Stefan afterwards, before he went out onto the balcony to show the trophy to the crowd. But looking at this list of all-time Grand Slam men's singles winners, David, you've got Roger Federer on 20, Rafa Nadal on 17, then Pete Sampras on 14, then Novak Djokovic on his own in 13th place. Are Federer and Nadal going to feel him breathing down their necks again?
I don't really think that they will at this stage. I mean, they, as you say, are some way ahead of him already. Nadal 4 slams ahead of him, Federer 7 slams ahead of him, and they have accelerated. They've won the previous 6 titles over the last year and a half of Nadal and Federer. But the story really here is the return of Novak Djokovic to that group, to the winner's circle again, because he's had 2 rough years. He's had a serious elbow injury that required surgery. He was out of tennis altogether for 6 months between Wimbledon last year and the end of the year. He didn't look like himself for the first 3 months this year, and then, as he said, he suddenly found himself again now. We saw it coming a little bit. We certainly saw it at Queen's when he reached the final there. He should have won that final, but he didn't get over the line. But suddenly here, the real Novak Djokovic surfaced, the man that had won those other 3, and he was just fabulous.
Yeah, so 4th in that all-time list with 13 titles. A word about Kevin Anderson. So 6-2, 6-2, 7-6, the final score, which I don't think we gave before. So he really didn't get going, did he, until that third set?
No, he really looked out of his depth, frankly, in the first 2 sets. That may be partly because of the exertions of the previous 2 rounds. 13-11 win over Roger Federer in the 5th set, and 26-24 in the 5th over John Isner. I mean, that takes a lot out of anybody. And when you're playing a guy this good, Novak Djokovic would have made a lot of players look ordinary, and that's what he looked for the first 2 sets. Third set, credit to him, he had 5 set points, did Kevin Anderson. That could have been interesting, because we have seen Djokovic wobble once or twice over recent months, but Djokovic held firm and was a deserving winner.
Yeah, well, what a story Kevin Anderson has had at these championships. That extraordinary 6.5-hour semi-final which we witnessed here on Friday, and he's made a lot of friends as well. A lot of people have learnt more about Kevin Anderson and what a nice guy he is, and he says he's taken confidence from his run here.
Definitely believe that I have the game to win these tournaments, and if you ask a lot of players, their dreams, it's to win Grand Slams, win Master Series, and some players are able to trick themselves to really believing that. I don't think, even though it was a huge goal of mine, if you asked me this time a year ago, I don't think I could sit here and say that I really believe that I can win a Grand Slam and a Master Series and say it with the same self-belief and confidence that I can now. Obviously that's by no means a sure thing whatsoever, but it's a big starting point, and it's taken a long time to get to this point. So, I feel like I'm on a great path. I'm trusting the process a lot. I have to really continue doing that. If I'm not in another Grand Slam final, it's because, maybe just got unlucky. I mean, you can't control all those things, but what I can control, I'm doing my best at doing, and I have a lot of belief that I can put myself into another one of these matches and hopefully have the result that I'm looking for.
And looking ahead to the US Open, David, I mean, the one thing that is guaranteed is that we won't get a ridiculous situation like we had the other day, because you get final set tiebreaks at the US Open. But could we see Kevin Anderson in a final there again?
Could do. I'd be surprised, because there are so many other great players and very, very good players, a little like him, that are going to be contending. And it is the perfect surface in that it's kind of equal for all players. I suspect we are going to see a really special US Open, because Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, they will be out there looking for another title. Novak Djokovic now knows he's back in that group again. You're going to have players like Juan Martín del Potro, who's won it before and is starting to reach those heights again. Marin Cilic has won it before. It's all going to be in that same mix. And then I think it's a really good surface for somebody like Kyle Edmund, for instance, who is coming up strong. He's reached the Australian Open semis, and then maybe Andy Murray will finally return at a Grand Slam.
Yeah, we've hardly talked about Andy Murray over the last couple of weeks. Maybe you could say we haven't missed him, but we have really, and we'll look forward, fingers crossed, to seeing him at the US Open. So speaking of the Murrays, by the way, it is deuce at the moment on Victoria Azarenka's serve, so they could be on the way to losing this at 5-2 down in this deciding, this second set. And if you want fuller reflections on Wimbledon 2018, then go to the Take Me to the Tennis podcast. If you say that to your smart speaker, Take Me to the Tennis, you'll be able to listen to it, or you can go to the 5 Live website and listen to everything else. So that's the smart speaker offering, but it is a podcast available on the website as well. Right, Mark Chapman, that's it from us at Wimbledon. As the sun moves off centre court, it's back to you in the Luzhniki.
And just as you come back, Paul Pogba is dabbing with the World Cup trophy in front of the photographers down below. The air thick with smoke because we've had a fireworks display as well. There's a light show going on at the moment. Not many people left on that pitch. Plenty of gold ticker tape around, and I think the rain may have just stopped. Let's go to the Scottish Open. Ian Carter.
Which is going to be won by the South African 25-year-old Brandon Stone, who remarkably knocked it round Gullen in 60 today. There are still several groups out on the course, but his target of 20 under par is not going to be caught, and he hit a magnificent second shot into the 18th, leaving himself no more than 7 feet for what would have been the first ever 59 on the European Tour. His putt, though, stubbornly refused to drop, tapped in for a 60, which left him at 20 under par. That's 4 shots clear of Eddie Pepperell, round in 64, paid the penalty for a drop shot at the 17th and missing a good chance for birdie at the 16th. But his consolation is that he will be playing at the Open Championship rather than commentating with us on 5 Live. So Pepperell, one of the 3 qualifiers. 2 players at 15 under par, Luke List of the United States and the veteran former Masters winner Trevor Immelman, who can also look forward to playing at Carnoustie, it would seem. So the title is going to go to South Africa. Brandon Stone is going to be the winner at 20 under par, though we can't quite dot the I's and cross the T's on that triumph just yet.
So, Dion, we are nearly done. Worthy winners for an excellent World Cup. Is that how we